think we have to wait the whole time, do we? Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Hi, it's a special Sunday tornado. We'll figure it out. Trump's Nebraska rally got kicked to the curb because of the tornado warning that was in the area. So he bumped it to today. So that brings us to the lovely crowd at RSBN Stadium in a field in Nebraska with another shockingly small crowd that Trump is not happy about. And we'll probably say stuff about how standing room only it is, and it clearly isn't. There's huge gaps. But what do we mind that he's miserable? Anyway, strap in, get yourself a beverage, something like that, and we'll get through this ridiculousness before RSBN has to yank it off the air. Oh, God. Okay. Yes, we get it. Oh, he had the hair starting to flap up in the back, so he was getting nervous. He saved his hat for himself. They were yelling USA at Mike Pillow earlier as well. That's this particular crowd's group right now. Also, there is a single, and it is the most hardcore member of the Blacks for Trump dudes is there in the Nebraska thing. There are also a lot of Herschel Walker stuff that is being held up, even though that's in Georgia. Whatever. Like,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And by the way, they had one of these cherry pickers holding the flag up collapse at one of his other events. This is just a fuck up waiting to happen. Look at that thing. You just had a tornado warning. You know that the weather is funky, and you're going to put this thing out over him and the crowd and pray the gust goes in the right direction.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Nebraska, a great place. Thanks for victories that we've had in Nebraska, and we've had a lot of them, and I've had a lot of them for you, too.
Yes, I've had a lot of victories for you.
It's great to be back in the American heartland with thousands and thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. What a great...
Well, dozens of hundreds.
Great crowd this is. We appreciate it very much. We appreciate it. Your state had some of the very severe storms on Friday night. I was going to come. I was ready to come. The pilot said, sir, we have tornadoes, we have hailstones, we have everything. I said, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. I can leave quickly. The rest of these assholes can dangle in it for hours. I don't care. I only have to be there for an hour, and what are the chances that's when the tornado will hit? Fuck these guys.
This is Nebraska. We've got to be there. We've got to be there.
What are you talking about? That's not just to protect you, asshat.
And then they said, you can't do it. And they also had a little thing called a tornado watch. I don't know. We don't want to have a tornado with all these people, right? I think.
Yeah, that's probably, I would say, a negative.
That's not a good thing. So we decided to make it today, and it's an honor. I wouldn't have missed it. I wouldn't have missed it. I could have gotten out of this one. I could have said to Charles, sorry, I couldn't do it on Friday night because of the bad weather. And I heard it was really bad. I heard nobody would have disputed that, but
nobody would have disputed. The fake news probably would have called it. They would have said it was sunshine and
said, I got to come back, and I'm coming back on Sunday. And then
I'm coming back on Sunday.
That's where we are right now. See, now Biden would say, I'm coming back on Monday. No, it's Sunday.
No, he wouldn't. He was actually he did well at the correspondence dinner last night. He was there because he's the president. I mean, If
I ever made any of those mistakes, they'd run me out of town, right? But it really...
He's made dozens. I'm not even going to play the audio. We don't have time.
These are great families with us today. They're friends of mine. I have a lot of friends of mine actually right here in the audience, and I appreciate you being here. We really have a big thing to go 6 months from now. The people...
You have a big thing to go. He just pooped. He pooped.
People of Nebraska are going to vote.
Hype train.
to fire the radical left Democrats. We're going to elect Charles W. Herbster, a good man, a very good man. He's going to be elected as your governor, and you're going to send an incredible slate of true American First Republicans to Congress, and together we're going to end
American First. Okay, so they will be citizens. All right, that's good.
crazy Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all. You could take the 5 worst presidents, and I say this, and I say,
yeah, we've heard it.
I think we could actually add to it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, 5 just doesn't sound bad enough.
But you could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have been able to do, and they certainly haven't done the damage that Joe Biden has done to our country in just 16 months. 16 months of time ago. Think of the damage that's been caused. But here's the good.
Yeah, the infrastructure bill, the unemployment being cut in half, the deficit shrinking, the rescue package, which is why most of these assholes can take time off. It's horrifying.
2.5 years from now, we have a big election, and in November, we have a big midterm. We have a very big...
We have a big bread term. A what? We have a big bread tube?
We
What?
have a big election, and in November, we have a big midterm. We have a
big bread term. Yes, if Biden made any mistakes like that, it's hilarious. If he makes them, he'd be over.
very big, I think, really one of the most consequential that we've ever had, because we have to stop what's going on, and they want to keep it going. They'll keep it going. We have to stop it. The
Oh boy, this is not starting off well.
contrast between the Trump administration's unbelievable and unprecedented success and
Not believable and definitely precedented. There's precedent for it. I mean, a lot of his... Never mind.
even the enemy says it, and a lot of bad people that we don't like.
What?
And you have people on the other side that we do like. But they all say we had a great success. Joe
Do they?
Biden, and that's despite all of the witch hunts and hoaxes and everything else we had to go through. And Joe Biden's unmatched and really unmitigated
Fucking hell.
failure, because it's been a tremendous,
It's unmatched. It's unmatchigated, I think.
tremendous failure. Let's look at some of the facts.
Yeah.
The numbers and
Let's look at them.
the
Don't be afraid.
results. It's undeniable. I got gas down to $1.
Is that the second I got gas?
87 a gallon, and even lower in some places.
And even lower in some places. Yeah. Where? On top of an oil rig? You mean when it was negative $36 a barrel?
And they have it at $5.60.
Oh, these aren't teleprompter failures, Bob. This is cognitive failure. This is brain tell lips what to say, and somebody put a penny on the tracks.
$7, and did you see over the weekend even $8 a gallon in some places?
It was $11 a gallon in California when he was president.
I achieved what was once considered totally impossible. We were energy independent. Can
We still are.
you believe it?
Yes, we still are.
They
We are.
surrendered our energy dominance, and they've been begging for mercy from OPEC, Russia, Venezuela, Iran. They'll take it wherever they get it, and we're
Well, you speak for yourself.
sitting right on top of liquid gold. We created the safest border in U.S. history. It was
By the way, I don't know if you know this, but apparently America floats on liquid gold. So if you've got money in gold, I would get out quickly, because apparently there's a lot of it and it's drinkable now.
the best ever, and they have turned it into the worst border disaster. I don't think anywhere in the world, you can go to a third world country, I don't think you'd see anything like it in the world. No matter who it is, there's never been a border like this anywhere. People just coming in by the millions. And don't believe when you hear 1 million, 2 million, it'll be 10 or 15 million by the time that ends. And we're talking about it a short period of time. They're coming over at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We have no idea who the hell they are, where they're coming from.
That, first of all, always true of people who are coming across illegally. That's the whole point. You don't know who they are. If you knew who they were, arguably, there would be some, like, element of showing ID and oh, never mind. It's just stupid. Same shit.
Last month, they had 141 different countries represented. It's horrible. We ended
Yes, the representation of those countries is terrible.
catch and release. We
By the way, he has no idea which countries.
deported record numbers of illegal aliens and gang members. Tens of thousands of gang members we used to send out of this country, would send them back to where they came from. Just a terrible thing.
Yes, it was a terrible thing to send them back to where they came from. Oh, you mean like Massachusetts?
And now we don't do that anymore. In fact, our ICE patriots and our Border Patrol patriots are scorned by the administration.
Terrible.
We built hundreds and
How
hundreds
could
of
they?
miles of border wall. In fact, I don't even know if you know this, we completely finished our original plan of border wall. We then added
Oh shit. I didn't realize he actually finished it. He's got so tired of saying it's almost finished, he's now got to lie and say it's basically finished, or that it is finished.
much more, and almost got that finished too, despite 2.5 years of litigation.
So was he just going to start saying he finished the wall? We finished our wall, and well, then if you finish the wall, why doesn't it fucking work? Why is it worse?
That we had to go through. We built much more than we even thought, but we saw certain areas as we were building that needed it.
You just noticed them while you were stacking bricks, and you're like, where are those people running?
And we got that almost built 3 weeks with it's all that it would have taken to finish
Right,
phase
just
2.
3 weeks.
The border wall was a great success and gave us record low immigration.
Well, apparently not, because it stopped working.
Now the Biden administration doesn't know what to do, or do they know what to do? That's even scarier if they do know what to do and they're not
Do you do like I do
doing it. I rebuilt our military, including our nuclear capacity and the creation of Space Force. 75 years, not since the Air Force. They gave $85 billion of our military away to the Taliban. You remember that? The press doesn't like talking about it.
Well, no, they love talking about that it's bullshit. I mean, I don't know if I count as press. I like to think that I do.
They don't mention it, including 700,000 machine guns, rifles, and other firearms.
Yeah, but the barrels are on backwards, and the triggers are in the butt. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it.
Think of what 700,000. I don't know.
Okay. 24 million. So, if there's 26 million people, and there's okay, so it's not enough guns for everybody. Okay.
None of you know it. They're one of the biggest sellers of equipment now: guns,
Not anymore.
rifles, planes, munitions.
Why are they selling it? Why aren't they just using it to destroy America?
One of the biggest anywhere in the world. They're selling
Oh, good. Is it like, do they have an eBay store?
the stuff that we stupidly left behind, as well as airplanes, helicopters, tanks, and 70,000
Hello. Hi, lady. Hello.
trucks. Does anybody here own a car place, or does
A
anybody
car place. Anybody own a car place? You mean like a driveway? Or an auto dealership?
have a used car lot? 70,000 trucks. Many of them are armor plated, very expensive, of course, millions and millions of dollars. And they gave it away
No, they don't.
for nothing, for no reason. They wanted to get out. They took the military out first. It's a horrible, think of what happened. They took the military out first.
The last person out was a soldier. Is it just me? Or is he wandering? Look at the folks around. Look at that. Look at the faces. There's some people who are just never going to stop being excited. But there's a little bit of like, what?
Getting us safely out of Afghanistan. I'm the one that got us down to 2,000 soldiers. But we were going to keep Bagram, not because of Afghanistan, but because it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. And we had it. Billions and billions of dollars were spent many years ago.
And also, what the fuck does that mean? We've got missiles that can be there in 20 minutes. Who gives a fuck if you're an hour away? What are we going to do? Send in troops to the nuke factory?
Building it And we walked out at the dead of night and did leave the dogs behind, by the way. They were.
Who left the dogs behind? Woof, woof, woof. Jesus Christ. Listen to this gibberish. This isn't, we did do the thing.
And we walked out at the dead of night and did leave the dogs behind, by the way. They were left behind.
Boo! Wait, did somebody say racist?
Dogs behind, by the way. They were left behind. We were getting out of that.
Somebody just yelled racist twice? What, racist against dogs?
We were getting, and we were going to get out with dignity and power and strength, and we weren't going to lose.
Our erection.
Soldiers, we had 13 killed, many, many injured. Nobody even talks about the injured. No arms, no legs, blown to pieces.
If you're blown to pieces, I think you're off the injured list.
And just so sad to see. I think it was the lowest day in the history.
If you're blown to pieces, you're not injured. Just saying. I just picture like Trump with like a needle and thread, and there's just like pieces of, like he's trying to sew fucking something out of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Of our country, that time period, and the media barely talked about it. In the Middle East, we wanted to, and we did. We ended the endless wars. There were endless wars, but...
No, you didn't. Not only did you not end the Afghanistan war, or you left us, you said we're going to stay past that anyways.
We made them ending and bring...
We made them ending. That's interesting. That's a great way of putting it. We didn't end it, but we made them ending.
Ended the endless wars. There were endless wars, but we made them ending and bring in our troops.
What the fuck does "we made them ending" mean? Jesus Christ. Somebody, all right, look, I understand Adderall might be a little hard to come by in Nebraska, but the dude can't do whippets on the flight over.
Troops, we brought them back home. Biden turned Afghanistan.
For fuck's sake. Hold on, I've got to clip that as well. Where's my, like, I don't know why my little button's not working. Hold on one second. I'm grabbing clips of these things. Quit. Get out of here. Hold on. Escape. Get out of here. What are you doing? Why won't this get out of the thing? Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to pull something up. And let's see, escape. Should take me out of full page size. Friggin' PCs, man, they're so weird. Let's see real quick. It is Elgato Stream Deck. There we go. We open up the Stream Deck thingy because whoops. Oh shit. There we go. Here we go. There it is. Sorry, my Elgato thing was being weird. It isn't. Oh, that's weird. It signed me out of Twitch. What is happening with the world? Hold on. Okay, 1 second. I've got to verify something. This is ridiculous. I want to be able to like grab these things when they come up. So, here you go. Remember the computer for 30 days. There we go. What? Whoops. What? Back up. All right, never mind. I'm going to have to grab it off of something else. Hold on. All right, you guys will clip it. Damn it. What is happening? All right, I had to restart my computer because I blew a fuse jerking around with the the power over it.
Afghanistan into truly something that nobody ever thought possible. In fact, I think Putin, when he looked at that, he said, this is the time to go in, because in my watch, he wouldn't have done it. He would have never, ever done it.
Never, ever, ever would have done it.
He saw the weakness. He saw the incompetence. None of this would have ever happened.
Ever.
100%. Somebody said, are you sure? Well, we went through 4 years plus, if you think about it, plus a very long time where we were politicking, right? Nothing happened. 4 years, nothing, not even
First of all, they were fighting in the East the entire fucking time.
a question of...
There was bombings going, like, literally from the separatist regions constantly. And he was in the business of undermining the entire Ukrainian government. He was part of it.
About it. And I spoke to him about it. He knew how I felt. He wouldn't have done it.
Nah, he was so scared of you.
It's a shame.
It is.
Onto so many people being killed. The whole place is just a disaster. That whole mess, what a mess, and it should have never happened. On Tuesday...
That whole message was a mess, and it should have never... Okay, he's drunk.
Biden's going to the Javelin factory. They build the Javelins. Remember the Javelins with tank busters?
Right.
It's in a great state, Alabama. Boy, we won Alabama, too. We won Alabama so big. The same weapons that I supplied to Ukraine.
Fuck, these people are like, what is going on with this dude? Like, they're expecting, play the hits, dude.
While the Obama-Biden administration, they supplied blankets. You remember the heat I took?
Yeah, different fucking presidents. Different people running the country. It's weird. You know, some people donated, I donated a lot of money to the Republican Party, and other people didn't at the time. Who was collecting? Well, when I was collecting, it was just this guy who was in the Rotary Club. When they were collecting, it was Ted Bundy. But, they didn't give nearly as much.
Supplying javelins, and they were saying it was good. He gave blankets, I gave javelins. And they were saying, like, oh, it's supposed to be good the other way. Well, it turned out that without the javelins, there wouldn't even be anything going. Remember this. I ended the pipeline. I supplied the javelins.
The javelins, very fancy. He's using the French pronunciation, because Macron just won. Javelins.
You got 400.
A little javelins, oui, huh? Yeah, javelin.
$30 billion more for NATO from these other countries that were delinquent. They weren't paying.
Yeah, but they don't pay into NATO. They have to build up military stuff. It's not like he got membership dues.
And then I had to listen to these people up here, the fake news.
RSBN?
Say he's been so nice.
Boo, RSBN. Boo, Newsmax. Right.
He's been so nice to Russia. Russia. You know who didn't think I was nice to Russia? Putin. He said, you're killing me on the pipeline. The people of Alabama know what's going on. When he shows up on Tuesday, the people of Alabama know.
Oh, yeah? They will? You're in Nebraska, asshole.
We gave it. They're always trying to take what we did and trying to say, gee, they did it. It's all misinformation. Their whole party is based on misinformation.
All right. Okay. So apparently that's why we're going to get to the Ministry of Truth stuff. They added that to the speech, and he doesn't know quite how to talk about it.
From Russia, that hoax, to the laptop from hell, to the impeachment hoax, number 1, impeachment hoax, number 2.
Jesus Christ.
The Mueller bullshit.
Yeah, see, he's got to swear because he's losing.
It's all, they're a party. They are the party of misinformation. Under my leadership, America was strong and America was respected like maybe never before.
I don't know, dude. World War II, the greatest generation. Fucking hell. Like, really, what kind of stolen valor bullshit is this?
We were respected. Now, leaders of other countries don't even return the phone call of the president of...
Also, not even remotely fucking true.
The United States, they don't want to talk to him. They want, in many cases, nothing to do with them other than to take advantage of us. Like, we're giving...
Well, don't you have to pick up the phone if you're going to take advantage of somebody?
$33 billion What's Europe giving? You know, Europe is very affected by what's going on over there. You know what they're giving? They're giving a lot of lip service by comparison. A lot of lip service. Under the Trump administration,
Well, you put it that way, it doesn't sound half bad.
we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. There was never an economy like we had pre-COVID, the China virus.
Nah.
And we had no inflation, and we would have kept it that way. Because
Sure, magically. After COVID, you wouldn't have had supply shock because miracle juice.
inflation was caused and started. Now it's a raging tiger, but it was caused and started by energy prices. You look at it. But now it's a raging tiger. Now you
It is a raging tiger. It was crouching, now it's raging.
look at the food, you look at everything. Food is worse than energy.
Yeah, food is worse than energy, but food gives you energy, the more you know.
What has gone up? Anybody buy some bacon lately?
Anybody? This dude right here, this guy bought some bacon lately. This kid ate some bacon that this dude bought. These guys both bought some bacon lately. Anybody buy some bacon lately?
Said,
No.
no, thank you, darling. They think it's a misprint. It's quadruple. They think it's a misprint. They look at the price. Oh, isn't that cute? They made a mistake. Somebody made a mistake, David. Biden created.
Is that how it works? Holy hell. Hold on one second. Let me look something up real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see if I can get that. Okay. There we go. $7. So it's seven. Here's the current. This is retail price of sliced bacon in the United States, 95 to 2021. It's definitely up, but I wouldn't say it's quadrupled. It leveled out though. Apparently, this is the static point for it, $5 and something. 2019 or whatever. And then there's 2020, and then here's 2021. This last year's $7.21. So that's it's up $2. It's up about 24%. Okay, which is quadrupled in Trump math.
The worst inflation in much more than 40 years. And
Well, no, not much more than 40 years. It's less than it was 40 years ago, stupid.
it's going a lot higher. Get
Well, yeah, it has to.
used to it. It's costing families right now almost
That kid has to either pee or he wants to run. I don't know what's happening.
$6,000
Or he's just dancing because he's on camera.
a year. That's bigger
Yeah, he's waving. It's the waving section.
than any tax increase that any government, any party, anybody could ever imagine proposing. Inflation is a disaster. First,
Well, it is worldwide. I mean, if we don't have, well, no.
they said it was transitory.
Jesus.
Now they say it's Putin's fault. It's Putin's fault. Let's blame Putin. Why the hell not? Right? It's Putin's fault. I gave you the largest tax cuts and tax reforms and
Not true.
regulatory reforms in history.
False.
The radical Democrats intend to impose the largest tax hike in the history of our country. If they get any of this stuff done, it'll be the largest tax increase in the history
That's not
of our
true.
country. They're working feverishly to put them all back, all of those restrictions that we took off, including what you did and what I did for the farms and the farmers, where you couldn't even use your land, you couldn't even touch your land.
What? What do you mean you couldn't use your land? You couldn't even touch your land? The fuck are you talking about?
If you had a little puddle in your land, they considered it a waterway. Say, no, darling, that's a puddle that's been there for a long time. No, no.
Why are you calling the federal regulators darling is the biggest
That's
question.
considered a lake, and you can't do a damn thing, and they want to pile on more and more restrictions. And I'll tell you, when I signed all of that nonsense out,
Fuck, man. He sounds like he was hit with a hammer. This is bad.
people really appreciated it, and the people of Nebraska appreciated it, and I appreciate them. We created 7 million new jobs. That's a record. We had another record. We had 164 million people working, achieved the largest poverty reduction in 50 years, lifted 7 million people off food stamps, lifted 10 million people off welfare. Nobody's ever seen numbers like that.
Well, sure they have. Right after 2008, basically in the second term of Obama, and then of course last year.
Nobody's ever.
I mean, literally, just like getting everybody off of unemployment and back to work is the job. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, Biden is trouncing his numbers.
Under Biden, there are still millions fewer jobs than before the pandemic.
Available.
Millions and millions, far lower than 164 million people. Way, way lower.
Well, at least I guess we're not counting the people you let die.
And a lot of people, in all fairness, are just not going to go back to work.
Yeah, they're lazy. In all fairness, it's not Biden's fault. Americans are just lazy. You tell them. What the fuck?
Until they have to.
Right, of course. To eat, you mean? Oh, you mean they do now? Because unemployment insurance ended, the extensions ended last August.
They're not going back to work. 4 million people have not returned to the labor force. Real wages have declined 12 months in a row now. Think of that. Real wages have declined. They have a thing called the misery index. It's at the highest level ever.
In the back, in the stands behind you.
Recorded. And the economy shrank to it shrank by, think of this, 1.4% in the first quarter. Nobody's ever seen that. But you don't hear it because the fake news, these people.
What are you talking about? You got that from the news. And consumer spending went up 0.7%.
Right here. They don't want to report it.
Boo! I mean, I enjoy that they boo.
And a lot of times, see the red lights on the cameras, all those cameras, a lot of times when they see I'm going there or I'm going to someplace else or I'm going to talk about the rigged and stolen election, the cameras go off. Charlie, turn off the cameras. He's going to talk about the rigged election. Turn them off. Turn them off, Charlie. It's 1.4 down.
Charlie Darling, in case you don't know.
Down. 1.4 down. You didn't see that with Trump. When COVID, we had...
No, you saw it completely fucking tank during COVID. What are you talking about?
Tremendous success with therapeutics and Operation Warp Speed.
Oh, son of a bitch. I don't have my sound effects set up. I'm sorry. Captain's log.
Which everybody said to this day was one of the most incredible things ever done by government. I rejected mandates. I rejected unscientific lockdown. 1,000
people just hanging out on a Sunday? Craziness. Hi, folks. This is a special extended version of HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. This is just, we do this when occasionally he has one of these rallies. Welcome. Settle in. Enjoy yourself. Super chat if you feel like it. Help out.
And I fought to get our children back into school. And I think
You fought to do it and Biden just did it? Weird.
Importantly, that nobody says, I've just started saying it because it's, in fact, I'll say it's science. You know the way they say it's science, remember? Remember Fauci when he said, no, nobody should wear a mask. Then 3 months later, he became a radical masker. If you could wear 7, put them over your eyes, put a couple over your mouth, your nose, masks all over your face.
Yeah, that's how it works.
But at the
beats a light bulb up the ass, I think,
beginning, he said masks are no good.
Well, he said they wouldn't be effective against it because there hadn't been a complete study. And you know what's weird? 3 months later, there was a complete study. And they do help.
Importantly, I let Republican governors run their states the way they should be run without interference from the federal government, but with a lot of help from the federal government in getting ventilators and therapies.
Unless they were mean to him.
Therapeutics and supplies of all shapes, sizes, and kinds to them. And without cost, we got them. We did an incredible job in getting them equipped. Remember when they got credit for doing a great job? The Democrats, they go, didn't he do a wonderful job in COVID? He couldn't even get tests out. Couldn't get anything out.
Well, apparently, we've got 2 tests in our medicine cabinet right now. Apparently, you can't. All right.
It's because they just took the credit. Disinformation, remember it. The party of disinformation, and we have to say it because almost everything they say is false. By contrast, under Biden, more people died of COVID last year than in all of 2020.
Yeah, that's because the disease didn't get started in the country until May, and then it started to cascade through, and 2021 was a whole year with COVID.
They failed on testing, they failed on therapeutics, and they imposed horrific mandates.
Terrible.
Punishing lockdowns and radical mask regulations. Now, you know, they always say...
And by the way, those were city mandates as far as masks go, except on airplanes, which is over.
Oh, didn't he do wonderful? Actually, they're not saying that too much. Even these guys don't get away. You know, didn't he do wonderful on COVID? I call it the China virus. Does anybody mind if I call it COVID, right?
Does anybody mind if I call it COVID? You mean China virus? Oh, God, he can't even keep his oddly racist nicknames for the disease on point.
You know, in 1917, they had the Spanish flu. Nobody...
Fucking hell. 18. Can people just yell 18 at these things?
Said, gee, don't call it the Spanish flu. There was a reason it was called. Well, it's the China virus, whether we like it or not. And I was also right about Wuhan, the labs in Wuhan. I think I was right about everything. She said, I think I was right about everything.
Honest to God, I'm going with drunk. Like this is just like 3 gin and tonics and a day in the sun.
Right? We were right about everything.
We're right about everything.
What a mess this country's in. Our country's going to hell. But we'll turn it around. We're going to turn it around. I just hope it's not going to be too late in some respects, because
in some respects,
what happened in Ukraine is very dangerous. This could be a very dangerous thing for the world. This could end up being a world war. We have incompetent people running things. It could end up being a world war.
He's basically, I don't know if it's because he's drunk or something, but he's basically kind of, you can see him rehashing the Piers Morgan interview in his head. So he's touching, it's like an airplane trying to land, skipping on the runway, and it's just picking up little pieces of the conversation that he had with him.
We have 2.5 years to go. We have, fortunately, not too long to go to the midterms, but we have 2.5 years to go for the presidential election. And I never realized how important being president was until I watched what's happening now, where we have...
You didn't realize it was important while you were fucking president?
Have somebody that goes over to Europe and embarrasses our country. Come here, Joe. Come here. Stand up here, Joe. Wave, Joe. Wave to the crowd, Joe.
Yes, it's again. Where is this? Where is this coming from? I mean, he's going to be acting out little scenes because he's either exhausted or something's up.
Embarrasses our country.
He embarrasses our country.
Thankfully.
Joe's gotta go is what we're doing.
Very dangerous period of time.
Totally.
Thankfully, a Trump-appointed judge recently struck down Biden's ridiculous mask mandates in a righteous victory for American freedom.
Also, by the way, the mask mandates on airplanes that got struck down by this judge were one of the predicates for why we needed Title 42, which is what keeps people in Mexico. And once you take those off the airlines, there is less of a reason why you would have Title 42 in terms of immigration. But these guys are too stupid to recognize that.
Joe Biden and the radical left have turned calm into chaos, competence into incompetence.
Well, it's easy. You just need two other letters in here.
Stability into anarchy, prosperity into poverty, and security into catastrophe. Otherwise, they're doing a fantastic job. The election was rigged and stolen, and now our country is being destroyed because of it. Such stupid decisions are being made, including the border, including Afghanistan. We had it all set to come out. We would have come out with dignity and pride and strength. I spoke to Abdul, the leader of the Taliban. I said, Abdul, you kill any more soldiers, we're going to hit you so hard. Nobody will ever be hit. Nobody will ever be hit like you're going to be hit.
I'm going to give you such a hitting with the I'm going to pow.
He said, I understand, Your Excellency. He called me Your Excellency. We didn't lose one soldier.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't being ironic at all.
Soldier in 18 months. Think of it. Unlike Chicago and these Democrat-run cities, we didn't lose one soldier in Afghanistan until this tragedy.
Actually, we haven't lost any soldiers that I'm aware of in any of these cities. We did lose 5 National Guard members because of Operation Lone Star, the Abbott border bullshit.
Of the way they left, the way they got out. I'm the one that set it up to get out. I brought it down all the way down to 2,000 soldiers. They were going to stay there until we got our hostages, because I call them hostages.
Yeah, just call them hostages.
Still hundreds of people in there that are American citizens. And in all fairness, some people that should be allowed to come out, some of the interpreters, etc. We took hundreds of thousands of people out. 97%, it came out the other day, 97% should not have been coming out. And
well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't suggest anybody come out in Afghanistan because their record on gay rights is pretty bad. No, it didn't. That didn't happen anywhere. Nobody wrote down that 97% of the people that got out of Afghanistan shouldn't have come out of Afghanistan. The fuck?
In that group, you have terrorists. You're going to be paying a price for a long time for what they did. 3% of the people were entitled to come out.
Jesus.
They rushed the airplanes. 28 people fell off the side of the airplanes.
Yeah, technically, did 97% of those people not deserve to be in the country? I just want to know which 3 we should scoop up and give a reasonable burial.
From 3,000 feet up. That's 3 times the height of the Empire State Building. They fell off the side of the airplanes, 28.
What is that? What the fuck is he talking about? I don't even know if these people... What must these people be thinking? That's just 3 times the size of the Empire State Building. That is...
People fell off the side of the airplanes from 3,000 feet up.
Uh-huh.
That's 3 times the height of the Empire State Building.
So you're saying they're not going to bounce?
They fell off the side of the airplanes, 28 people.
Well, the bottom of the airplanes. I don't think any of them were actually clinging to the doors like Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie.
This is the most dangerous time in the history of our country.
Gen Xers would like a word.
Because of the incredible power of modern day weaponry, which we totally rebuilt, including our nuclear. Not that I wanted to. I hated to rebuild the nuclear.
Also, what is this? Like, we live in the most dangerous time ever on this planet, thanks to me.
But we have no choice because others are doing it. Meanwhile, we have a president who has no idea what's happening, who is shaking hands with the air while Putin talks about nuclear weapons all the time. Nobody's ever talked about nuclear weapons. You're not supposed to talk.
Yeah, nobody has ever talked about that. We've never had treaties and discussions about it. We've never had threats back and forth. Bay of what?
About nuclear weapons, the N-word.
Shit.
I used the word, I used the term, the N-word. They went crazy. He said the N-word. I said, yeah, the nuclear word. You don't talk about the nuclear word. You just don't talk about it. It's
just don't talk about it. Wow.
Too devastating to talk about. He's throwing it around all the time because he doesn't respect our leadership.
Well, for the record, he's not throwing it around right now because apparently he has handed over power of the country to a second in line because I don't know if you guys saw this. Putin apparently is having cancer surgery. And he is, where is it? Here you go. He's handing over power to one of his Security Council chiefs, Patrushev, while he's under, I guess, under anesthetic for it or during his recovery time. They don't really say. He has cancers, Parkinson's, and schizophrenic symptoms, according to a Telegram channel, which is, I mean, whatever. Patrushev claimed NATO support for Kiev will cause disintegration of Ukraine. This guy's more like hardline than Putin is in some ways, although he can't act on what he wants to act on just because Putin's out of it. And by the way, everything that he said about this, he said in public. So if Putin if Putin would not hand it over to him if he didn't speak like this. So it's hard to tell what the guy actually thinks, what Patrushev actually thinks. But yeah, so that was an interesting piece of news. No, it's abdominal cancer.
Yeah. Just look at the video of Joe Biden attempting to...
And Daily Mail's not the only source, by the way.
...to speak last week, very tough to Russia and Putin. Take a look at this.
That will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracies. But these are bad guys.
Kleptocrats is what he meant. He's got a stutter. By the way, if you're going to show a clip like that, don't have all the difficulties you've had just tonight speaking.
And it got worse, but we don't have all afternoon to it. Once and for all, Joe Biden should put the question to rest by taking a cognitive test. You have to do it and releasing the results for the entire world to see. When the fake news started saying fake crap about me, I said to Doc Ronnie, who's now, as you know, Ronnie Jackson, he's a great congressman from Texas. He's so popular. He's the most popular guy you'd ever imagine. But
yeah, he's the most popular guy you'd ever imagine.
He was a White House doctor. He was an admiral, a great admiral. He was a highly respected man. He was the doctor for...
He was Dr. Feelgood. He would hand out Ambien on flights. That was his claim to fame.
Bush. He was for... Let's see. He was for Bush and Obama, and he was for me. And I said, so who's the healthiest of the group? And Dr. Ronnie said, oh, he likes me. He said, you are, sir. You're the perfect specimen. He said...
Oh, God, we're going to get into he's seen every part of me, aren't we?
I said, what about Obama? He's in good shape. Sir, you're the most healthy guy. I love Doc Ronnie. I love Doc Ronnie. But I said, what do you think about a cognitive test, Ronnie? He said, well, you know, the problem is, you know, you're dealing with Walter Reed. It's very public. And you have other
doctors. Oh, God, we've heard this story before.
If you do badly, the word's going to get out, or we'll probably have to announce it. I said, how tough is this test, Ronnie? Because these people are calling me bad names. They're calling me stupid. They're stupid, Ronnie, and we got to end this bullshit. So I said, how long and how tough is the test? They said, well, the first questions are easy, but when you get to the middle of the test, they're very hard. And at the end of the test, you know, a lot of people have no clue. They can't answer those questions. They're tough. So it's a basically tough test. You know, it gets easy, and then it goes up. And
it gets easy and then it goes up. Yeah. I'm watching him fail this test right in front of me.
So what do you think, Ronnie? He said, I don't know. It depends. How do you do on this stuff? I said, okay, I do good. I do good.
You mean well?
Smart guy. I'm actually real smart, Ronnie. Let's go, Ronnie. Let's go. So they gave me the test, and he will tell you I aced it, every question right. And one person said, I've never seen anybody ace it before. I said, I aced it. I aced it.
Yes, you did. You aced it. Yes, you did. You totally aced it. Jesus Christ, we're in trouble. You did ace it. You did so good. You did so good. Is it too early for the 25th Amendment? Am I supposed to be part of that discussion? Put me in the yes column. You did fabulous. You totally aced it. That's exactly what it's. Person, woman, man, camera, TV. That's what it says. Yeah, it doesn't say hippo, alligator, shoe salesman, vapid asshole. It doesn't say that at all.
And they got, it's really a good thing because they no longer called me stupid.
That never gets old, by the way.
They no longer call me stupid. Now they say he's a dictator who wants to take over the world. They say all sorts of other, but they don't call me stupid anymore. But I think...
Oh, I mean, I call you stupid all the time. Although I have to admit, most of what you're talking about, I make a distinction between ignorance and stupidity, or someone who's dumb and stupidity. Stupid means, to me, you know better, but you fuck up anyway. So it's almost more of a character issue. You do stupid things you shouldn't do, but you do them anyways. That's stupid. Whereas ignorance, you just don't know any better, is a different thing. And so it's difficult with him because you can tell a lot of stuff he just has no fucking clue.
I think it's something that a presidential candidate or a president should take. You're representing, you see the damage
Imagine how we feel about your taxes.
it's caused right now by what's happening. And I think it's something that you should take. It's something you should take. And I support it wholeheartedly. See, that would normally be breaking news, but they won't report it. But I think everybody should take it. Everybody that even runs should take it. You should have a certain standard. Not to equate us with China, but I'll tell you what, they have a very tough system. You start off all even when you're about 2 years old, and then they start taking the smarter, the smart. You get up to that thing, and I will tell you, President Xi's a very smart man.
No, he isn't. He isn't. He's bullied his way to the front of the line. This is not a functioning hierarchy over there. Or he wouldn't have come up with the shit solution he came up with for their real estate issue.
Whether you like him or not, and you notice that during 4 years, he didn't attack Taiwan. Never thought of it. Now, all of a sudden, they have a lot of bombers flying over Taiwan.
They have none.
They're looking. I think the only thing that's going to stop him is he's going to look at the mess that Russia got themselves into, and he might say, Charles, are you doing good? Look at him. He's sitting there with that beautiful hat on. I'd love to wear a hat like Charles W. Good man. He's been maligned.
Jesus Christ.
Been maligned. He's been badly maligned, and it's a shame. That's why I came out.
Maligning.
It would have been easier for him to say, I'm not going to come. I come out. I defend people when I know they're good. He's a good man. I came out here. I'm out here now. I'm out here. A lot of people. I mean,
a lot of people wouldn't even come out here. I'm out here. Am I out here? I'm out here.
Right. This is the way it works. I mean, it's a lot of people, they say, and they look at you and they say, well, you don't have to do it, sir. You could. I have to defend my friends. I have to defend people that are good. He was with us from the beginning. I just met so many people backstage. Thank you, sir, for being here. He's been my friend for 30 years. He's the most innocent human being. He's the last person to do any of this stuff. And even the stuff they're accusing of, what did they say? He talked to somebody? He talked.
No, they're saying he groped. 2 women are coming forward. He does it all the time, but 2 women are coming out with direct accusations that he groped them without their consent. No wonder you're there to support him.
It's a disgrace what
It's a disgrace that that's the best you can do, and that's who you're running.
they've done. It's a disgrace, and that's why I'm with you. I could have gotten out of this one real easy. I could have played golf. I could have gone to the beach. I could have done.
Please, God, don't go to the beach. Please, unless you're going to wear a big, like, Marlon Brando muumuu and carry a parasol. I can't do it.
And I'm here with Charles W.
Charles
W. Herbster.
Charlie W.
I said, Charles, are you sure I have to come? Please, sir, I'd like it to come. It's so unfair. And his friends called me. They said, I'd like you to come because it's so unfair. And we can't let this stuff happen, And by the time he clears himself, the election's over. They'll say, oh, it was right. Remember that whole...
You mean like Hillary's emails and the Hunter Biden fake laptop?
Whole thing with some very bad people when they were talking about the tax returns and they lose the election. And after the election, the guy said, well, we won the election, didn't we, even though it was totally made up. That was about a rhino named Mitt Romney. Mitt
Romney. Jesus Christ. I'm putting stream markers on something. Mitt Romney. Mm-hmm. Yes. Imagine talking like this and you don't have a stutter.
A real beauty. He's a real beauty, that guy. But remember that.
By the way, Mitt Romney is his rap name. He's a Romney with a hat on sideways, posing like Paul Ryan.
He said all sorts of bad things.
They probably would have won.
About his taxes, and then he lost. He got his ass kicked, actually. He ran a horrible campaign. Remember the respect he had? He respected Obama so much. I said, why did you salute him? I mean, he was just all in for...
You mean when he was actually commander-in-chief, when he was, why don't you salute him? Right.
It's tough when you're all in for somebody that you're running against. He was all in, but they lied about his taxes. They said horrible things about his taxes.
Did they?
And when they went to Harry Reid, I guess it was, right?
Yeah.
They went to Harry Reid and they said, what do you think about it? You said bad things. You lied about his taxes. He goes, we won, didn't we? That's the way they play the game, isn't it, my man? CPAC. CPAC is a great organization. We have a...
Matt Schlapp, I guess he's pointing at. He doesn't remember names, so he's just calling, what's his name? Like, hey, Steve W. and CPAC guy.
A great gentleman here, but I'm going to introduce him. I'm not going to talk about him now because he's going to come up and maybe even say a few words. He's been great. He's been a supporter. And
Can't remember his name.
I want to thank all of the people from CPAC that are here right now. So that happened to a rhino named Mitt Romney, and it happens to others. Oh, by the way, it happens to me on a daily basis, all this stuff. They make up crap like nobody's ever seen. But you know what? It hasn't been so effective. I got more votes than anybody's ever gotten. Can you
Well, except for the guy who beat you, I think.
believe it? Any president, no president has ever gotten, with the support of all of the patriots here tonight.
Oh, God.
We saved our country once, and together we will save our country again.
Sacking. Is that going to replace MAGA? Save our country again. Sacka.
Is that right, Matt Schlapp? What do you think, Matt Schlapp?
He just remembered his name.
We're going to save our country again, Matt?
MAGA to Sacka. Yeah, call it Sacka. Yipes. What's with the... Yeah. Hold on. Watch this bullshit. Hold on. Back up for a second.
Save our country again, Matt?
What was that? He blew a kiss and then he went... He's reminding me in this moment of Dom DeLuise in History of the World as Caesar. Wash this.
All we need...
And by the way, was that kiss and lip flap for Matt Schlapp?
It is a House, a Senate, and a president who will very simply put America first. And we did that. We put America first. And we had people fighting us. Remember when they first came in? We will not support America first. I said, you know what? Such a great name. Even if you don't support what we do, and that's what it is. It's America first. You don't say that. We're not going to support. Say, we don't support Trump. We don't support his policies. But you don't say, we will not support America first. I used to love it. They changed after about 1 week. They were getting hammered. I ran twice. I won twice and did much better the second time than I did the first.
And Biden got more votes than any president in history.
We got 12 million more votes than in 2016. And likewise, we got more votes. I just said it. I'll say it again and again and again than any president in the history of our country by far. And now we may have to do it again. They have to do it again.
That got them on their feet. Well, not these two. They're taking a minute. Is that Ted Nugent? Oh, let's get up. Do you want to get up?
And
nah.
Joe Biden didn't get votes.
I'm gonna get up.
Ballots. That's all he got.
Do you want to get up? I'm not getting up. These two right here. Watch this. Hold on. Back up. Watch him talk to her. Watch these two. He's like, I'm gonna start. Wait, you want to get up?
And
No.
Joe Biden
He
didn't get
stands
votes.
up.
He got ballots. That's all he got. He got ballots. Where the hell did they come from? Where did all those ballots come from? By the millions and millions they poured in.
From Democrats and independents who can't stand you.
What a hoax. The ultimate con, and they hate to talk about it. You know, they don't want to talk about it. And I want you to see David Bossi's Citizens United. They did an incredible documentary on $417 million. And coming out, I guess tomorrow or the next day, is Dinesh, right? Dinesh D'Souza, a movie. But it's not about the movie. It's about Truth to Vote. They're coming out with their...
True the Vote is the name of the organization.
Findings. These are thousands of patriots that went around the country viewing tape. You know, all those fake, I call them the unlock boxes, not the lock. They're unlock boxes because you unlock them. I wonder
Oh, okay. I was wondering
what they did when they were unlocked. But I call them the unlock boxes. They have tapes of all those boxes. And these incredible women, headed up by Catherine Engelbrecht, who's an incredible patriot. They went around and they looked at miles and miles of tape, film.
This particular film.
They looked at miles and miles of tape, film.
Fucking hell.
Tape. And
Film tape. It's the highest quality tape that there is. Film.
they found millions and millions of phony votes. And you know what's going to happen? Maybe
What?
nothing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe nothing. Isn't it sad? The fake news doesn't want to talk about it.
So
they don't want
sad.
to talk about anything bad.
I don't want to talk
For
about
the
it.
Democrats, they don't want to talk.
Oh,
the
it's
biggest
terrible.
thing they don't want to talk about, though, is
Yep.
the election.
That's right.
Because
They just
know
why
the
won't
result,
they?
and they don't want
It's
it.
crazy.
Too close. We're
It
too
is.
close.
It's close.
We're not too
and
close. We know the
no,
results.
you know.
The biggest lie of all.
What is it? Is what?
when they say the big lie. You ever
Oh, I
see
see.
these stories when these fakers they write stories?
Yeah.
And they say, "Well, there's absolutely."
Well, those guys are like photojournalists with the cameras, and then of course anchor people and the like that are talking about this. These folks that you pointed out aren't writing stories. Those people that I guess would be down there. They're the people with little.
No proof. We got truckloads in every state. Wisconsin. You see what's going on in Wisconsin? Where they have almost
It's like he's drunk Mike Lindell.
100% in senior citizens facility supposedly voted.
Supposedly.
But in years past, very few people voted. You know why? They have other problems. They don't care about Trump. I don't blame them. They want to live. They can't breathe.
What the fuck?
They don't care about Trump. I don't blame them. They want to live. They can't breathe. One person came up, my mother's comatose. She hasn't been
Comatose, by the way. That's it. She doesn't know when to pause when she speaks. It's a terrible disease.
able to speak for over a year. And they're saying she voted in the election. Honestly, she didn't care about the election. She has much bigger problems. But they had almost...
How would you know? I don't think she has any if she's comatose. She's got comatose. She's got the same... it's Marjorie Taylor Greene has the same thing. Her toes all go like this. It's good, though, when she's climbing trees.
100% of the people...
You know what? They should put the voting booths on up high in the trees. And then that would, would really add an element of hierarchy to all of
in
this.
Wisconsin voting. And they have a man, Justice Gableman, a very highly respected man. He's fantastic. He's a fantastic man. And he's issued a report that's just so horrible, so damning as to we're like a third world country. And we're third world with the president.
No, we're not, because you're out in a giant field and nobody there is starving. None of these people, if they found out they were pregnant, would have to walk 150 miles to a hospital.
Because they're among the most dishonest people. Every sentence. I read something today in one of our main papers. Almost every sentence, every time they talk about the election, well, nothing has been proven. While it's all out there. It's there. And this one's going to be interesting because David was great, what he did with the 417 million, how it went to mostly Democrat areas. And I can't believe it's legal, David. I just can't believe it. But when you watch this one...
He means the money that Zuckerberg gave to counties to give them like drop boxes and voting machines and shit like that, which, by the way, the states actually were responsible for. And the problem states that he has are largely run by Republicans. But they would always, interestingly enough, he's like, I don't know why, but the underfunded areas where they don't have enough facilities, they don't have enough voting machines, they don't have enough drop-off boxes, they don't have any of the supplies you would need for the electorate, are oddly in Democratic areas in these red states. It's I can't figure out why that would, why would that be?
That's coming out now. And I'm not necessarily talking about the movie or the documentary.
No, not necessarily.
But that covers it to an extent.
Well, good.
But they have much more even than that. When they release their findings next week or the week after.
Or the week after, or even the week after that.
Millions and millions of votes. And they focused on swing states. They didn't focus on others. They
non-swing states, is that the word you were looking for?
probably did something there too. The bad people, the corrupt people. But the swing states were devastating, and the information they found
were swinging
was devastating. And I could go over things.
Apparently, in those states, you vote by putting your key in a bowl by the door,
Like left and right. When you look at what happened in Detroit, was so bad. Philadelphia was so bad. Atlanta was so bad. That governor did nothing. I got him in when I endorsed him. I got this guy elected.
Oh, it's good. By the way, Purdue is losing, so this is kind of awesome, and I have no popcorn.
He did nothing, and one thing has nothing to do with the other.
No.
But I'll tell you what, he did nothing for the people of Georgia, the people of this country.
They didn't.
He didn't want to know about it. I think
He
was
didn't.
embarrassed by how bad it was, and he
Probably.
didn't want it down on his watch. And that's not what it's about. And frankly, if he did the right thing, it would have been a positive for him. It would have been a positive. He's like afraid of this Stacey Abrams. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but he has done such a bad job. And I hope they get out, by the way, Charles W., and vote for David Perdue. I do hope so, because he's in there fighting. He would have.
What? It feels like he's having a drunk conversation with this dude off the side of the stage, but they just pointed him at the audience.
Senator, I mean, except for the horrible corruption. You look at Fulton. Just take a look at what took place in Fulton County. It's a horrible thing that took place. So it was all too corrupt. It's now really been proven. That's why you read the stories and you see, while there's no evidence, while Trump is a big lie, this is the big lie they call it. The big lie is actually reversed. The big lie is their big lie.
Wow. I like how he does that linguistically is beyond me. I mean, did they teach that at Horton?
And, you know, I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever said it before a group. It would have been very easy to lose. You lose. Somebody wins, somebody loses. What's very hard is when you get more votes than any sitting president in history by far, when if you got the same number that you got 4 years before, you win easy, they say.
Who's they? Secondly, you lost the popular vote by the number of votes last time. You fucking lost.
They said, well, if you got the same, Obama got fewer votes the second time, and he won very easily. I mean, the person he was campaigning against wasn't that good, but he won very easily. I got far more votes than we got the first time. That meant, you know what that means?
Everybody did, because everybody could vote, because everybody was home. Nobody was doing anything else. People weren't distracted with their lives. People didn't have to go to work because there was fucking COVID had shut down the fucking country.
Said I did a good job. So, honestly, when you lose the election, you know, hey, look, you know, I gave it my best, and you say I gave it my best, and we worked hard, and we lost. I would have loved to have congratulated a person that people would have said won. And if it was fact, I would have been the first one to stand up there and say,
bullshit.
He won, but it was a rigged election, and he didn't win. Not only didn't he win, he lost by a lot. And you saw so many different things where he got more votes with the African-American community than Obama. Give me a break.
Well, yeah, because everybody who voted for Obama, who didn't vote, you know, like plus people who didn't vote that time, looked at you and went, fuck this, and decided to vote. Also, a lot of them had access to voting in a way that they didn't before because of the Brian Kemps in the world.
Locations, give me. It's always a very important location. You ever notice? Where so many other, I mean, just point after point, many different things.
Yeah.
So ballot harvesting is coming out next week. That's determinative. That's election changing. But
Well, yeah, but you have to prove that the ballot harvesting was actually beneficial to Biden when in fact it was actually you that benefited from it.
there are many other things
Every time they look, they find more Biden votes that weren't counted, more Trump votes that shouldn't have been.
that we're all
Every person who's gotten busted so far for voting twice voted for Trump.
so
Twice.
election changing. Matt Schlapp worked in Nevada, and he went in there very skeptical, and he came out, he said, man, this thing was really corrupt. But we had a Democrat judge who threw the damn thing out. He didn't want to look at it. Anybody reading it would have said, wow. But you couldn't
Wow.
believe it, right? He became a believer then. He wasn't a believer maybe the first day or the second day, but after he saw all the evidence, he literally went there to look at it. And he
Literally?
studied at CPAC. And he said, man, this thing was really corrupt. But we had a judge that didn't even want to look at it. We had many judges without any
Sure.
courage. They didn't
Well, I mean, you put more on the judiciary than anybody in history, right? So I've obviously some blame would fall
want
on
to
you.
look at it. They didn't want to talk about it, including our Supreme Court
I'm basically amazed that at how drunk he sounds.
of the United States, including them. What they did was almost 20 states filed, because listen to
Right.
this system. The
All right.
president of the United States doesn't have standing.
Right.
I'm the president of the United States. I just went through a rigged election, and I have no standing. So I can't file a case. They say I can't file, but the states can file.
No, they
So
can't.
20 states, almost 20 states got together, headed
And they didn't have standing either.
up by Texas, a good group of people, I will tell you. And I think that attorney general is doing very well in Texas. He's got his race
We're in the a God bless United States territory
coming
right now.
up in a very short period of time. I think he's going to do. By the way, 33-0 in Texas. I was 3 on endorsements, 33-0. And you know, if I lost one race, they'd say Trump was humiliated. That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for one race. You know, we've endorsed Dr. Oz. We've endorsed JP, right? JD Mandel. And
Or, I'm sorry, JD, you mean JD Vance? Hold on.
he's doing great. They're all doing good. They're all doing good. And let's see what happens. But if I lose one race, we have so many races that we're leading by a lot. If it's like 40-2 or 40-1 or 40-3, they're going to say Trump was humiliated. He was humiliated. I think Vance is doing well. I think Oz is doing well. Does everybody like Oz? I love Oz. Who cares? I think he's going to also do
I wouldn't look behind the curtain right now, though.
better in the general election. So, you know, there are a lot of reasons to endorse people.
Uh-huh.
Guys like Mitch McConnell and Rhino Friends would rather see a Democrat like Biden be president than a Republican like me. I'm a little bit different kind of a Republican. We want to get things done.
Well, then why didn't you get the infrastructure bill done? Why not another rescue package? How come you weren't able to get that done? How come you never got us out of Afghanistan? You had a big, beautiful plan.
It sort of works better for him and his agenda, but it doesn't work well for our country. He should have done something about all of the things that we were just talking about with
Yeah, I should have done stuff.
a rigged election. When a thief robs a jewelry store and gets caught, they have to give the jewelry back.
Oh, fuck, man. This is where they're going with this. Please, God, let him stick to this and just run with this at every ensuing rally. Because nothing is going to keep these assholes from voting like him going, this is all rigged. This is a rigged thing. They haven't fixed anything. This is all bullshit.
Right? They have to give it back. They don't keep it. So here they're saying we found all of these, all of this fraud and all of these irregularities.
Yeah, but for the record, they're all Trump votes. This dude, he's losing the fuck Joe Biden dude. This guy traveled this whole way in an FJB hat and an FJB shirt. Like he's got FJB drawers, socks, pants, shoes. And he brought his girl who's like, motherfucker, you brought me this stupid thing. He brought Lauren Boebert's stunt double right below him. Everybody's texting.
And but we'll keep it the same. You know, they say there's no mechanism. There's no mechanism. Think of it: the election, rigged and stolen. Found out how, and the Republican leadership doesn't want to do anything about it. They say, "Sir, sir," you'll see it in a second.
Yeah, show me the Sir videos. Oh, they're playing videos because he's a little white today, so they're gonna
winning. You're winning in a landslide for the next one. You're doing great. You're beating the Republicans by insurmountable numbers, and you're beating Joe Biden by a lot. Think to the future, sir. And I say that you never can think totally to the future until we solve the past, because if we...
Oh, like, this is grudgeonomics. And please, what's FJB? It's fuck Joe Biden. That's the let's go Brandon, more direct route. And like, first of all, it's a Sir story, which is total bullshit. Hold on one second. Something's at the door, and I think it's heavy, and I think Summer might need help getting it in. I'll be right back. Hold, please. Hold, please. Oh my, why is that happening? My buttons aren't working. Let's start. We'll be right back. Be nice. Is your thing here, babe? Okay, you got it. It's not okay. I was just, I thought that. What? I'm still on, but you need it, yeah. Okay. Thanks for the drink. All right, hold on. Summer brought me a beverage. She went out and came back. Hold on one second. There we go. Here we are. Here we go. Where's my screen back? Hey, here we are. Welcome back. Welcome back. I also obviously going to need this at some point when he starts talking. I should have had it earlier when we were talking about Mitt Romney, but all right. Play. 1 second. Here we go.
We don't solve the past, the same thing's going to happen again, right?
Totally.
I mean, that's the way I look at it.
That's the way I
look at it.
That's the way I look at it.
But watch these elections. You know, when I won in Texas, 33-0, I didn't see any stories written about it, Matt. Not one story. Now, I'm sure there were a couple, you know.
Also, what the fuck does he mean when he won 33-0? It's like picking primaries. He's doing bullshit with like the Republicans. There's a bunch of stories about how he's like trying to make himself into a kingmaker. Everybody's talking about whether or not he's losing influence. There's a lot of stories, plus positive and negative, about all these things. Like, nobody's ignoring this.
Local papers. If I would have lost 2 or 3 of the
You already
races,
said this part.
and some of those races actually were, you know, they say, oh, well, they were favored. No, a lot of those races, a
Thanks for the drink, babe.
number of those races, I picked underdogs. I did it with the Senate. Dr. Oz was being swamped by people that have a lot of money, and they were and he was down by 10 points, and now he's up substantially. And J.D. Vance was...
He's going to lose.
Being swamped. I think he was in 4th place, and now he's up. I didn't pick people that were sure things at all. I don't do it.
Look, he's getting defensive about it because that's what everybody's saying. He starts picking them when they're on the way up and everybody else is ditching out. The other dude in Ohio is running against Vance. Has got like all these weird sexual proclivities about him or whatever, like that are coming out. And Trump was apparently skeeved by it, so he didn't want to endorse him, which is very strange considering his history.
I do what's right. I do what's right. And I'm picking people that are going to win the general election. The networks and the media trying to censor us and cancel us. And what Fox is trying to do is have Trumpism without Trump. Let's do Trumpism without Trump. That was in a paper today. They said they're looking to do Trumpism without Trump. Who likes Trumpism without Trump? Does anybody, I hope? Does anybody like it?
By the way, does anybody like it? I hope.
Said they're looking to do Trumpism without Trump.
Which one would perceive as negative if you are indeed Trump.
Who likes likes Trumpism without Trump? Does anybody, I hope? Does anybody like it? Okay. I don't think so. I don't know. You know, it's sort of, I don't know how it's going to play, but they're working hard at it. And even the New York Times said today in a major article, quote,
it's almost like he doesn't know whether it's negative or positive.
segments featuring Fox's own reporters consistently drew lower ratings, especially if they were covering stories the audience deemed unavoidable and unfavorable to Trump.
Unavoidable?
So
Trump, Fox fans don't like when Fox shit talks Trump or doesn't.
Consistently drew lower ratings, especially if they were covering stories the audience deemed unavoidable and unfavorable to Trump.
Unavoidable and unfavorable.
So,
well, technically, most stories that are unavoidable are unfavorable to Trump.
if they took a story that was unfavorable to Trump, their ratings went down. Do I love the people? I love the people, and they love me. I love the people. What the hell? Did I give up a lot? Did I give up a lot? But nothing like
No.
this has ever happened. I have been under investigation for longer periods of time and vicious. I mean, in New York State, I have this woman. She's a total racist and horrible woman. And I have been under investigation.
And you talk about Letitia James.
From the day I came down the escalator with our great First Lady. And I say it loud and clear. I've had more investigations than Jesse James, Billy the Kid, and the legendary Alphonse Capone. You know Al Capone? What he had to go through was peanuts. And think of it, 5 years of this crap, and they got nothing.
And I want to do it again.
Why? Millions and millions of pages of stuff. Nothing. They would have done it in 2 seconds. And it's so bad. It's so dead. They've weaponized all of that.
Terrible.
And it's really,
How do you even,
really amazing.
You don't know. How could I?
Essentially, when you think of that New York Times quote, we're essentially like family. I protect you and you protect me. That's what's happened.
What? You mean your fans run interference, or they use like ratings as leverage so that they don't talk about unfavorable stories? That's not a plus, dum-dum. Yeah, Billy the Cud. He died. It was really gross. He was chewed to death by a cow. It took forever.
This crazy Piers Morgan. Did you see that show?
Oh, yeah. We saw it.
Piers Morgan. Thank you, sir. Piers Morgan show. You see Piers Morgan? He sort of had it. I think Piers is over the hill.
He's younger than you are. Like a decade younger.
He opened the show with an interview of me. I did him a favor. I didn't want to do a stupid show. It's on Fox Nation. What is Fox Nation? What is it? They're going to love me when I say, what is Fox? It's on Fox Nation. He opened with great ratings when he did.
Oh, shit. Bastards. Every time. Hold on. They, right now, let's see. Can you run this back? Nope. Okay, that was live. That was Conroe, Texas. Hold on. They tear it down because they don't want to get in trouble. So now
different countries represented. It's horrible. Different countries represented. They're coming from at levels that nobody's ever
Hold on.
At levels that nobody's ever seen before. We have no idea who the hell they are, where they're coming from. Last month they had 141 different countries represented.
Airing it again. Previously aired.
Members, by the administration. We built hundreds and hundreds of miles of border wall. In fact, I don't even know the original plan. We then added much more and almost got that finished too, despite 2.5
Jesus, I'm not
years of
starting
litigation
again
that
from
we had
this.
to go through. We built much more than we.
Oh God. Yeah, Trump isn't allowed on YouTube, so they basically they post it and then they ditch out. Was sort of
At level, border wall was a great success in nuclear capacity and the creation of Space Force.
like they're watching it again. Ugh, hold on. It's always hard to find a version of it. Because really, in a lot of ways, RSBN is the only place that's covering it. Which is amazing because it's like there's only one camera there. Super weird. Hold on.
And they have turned it into the worst.
Hold on. Oh, they've turned it. Worst border design than ever. Okay, hold on. Let me fast forward to this. I think this.
And who's like a gnat, you know? Get him off.
Hold on.
She said, because you can win if you're down 5 points, but you can't win if you're down 19 points. So they keep, it's called voter suppression. It's a whole big thing. These polls, some of these polls.
It's called suppression polls. It's not called voter suppression. Voter suppression is an active anti-democratic activity that him and his ilk all participate in.
Polls are so fake. Well, look at our election. We won the election twice.
Nope.
But we won the election with polls that were just crazy. And we have some slides that just came out from a legitimate pollster, John McLaughlin. So take a look. So that's the support. You see 83. And the number I hear that's an incredible number is strongly support. Nobody has 63% strongly support.
Hold on. Republican primary voters. You think?
Support. Strongly
this asshole thinks this is the general public.
support means you could do almost anything and they'll vote for you anyway. I love those people.
And by the way, by region, if you look over here, they didn't even poll Democrats. Look at this. Hold on. Look at this business. Republican 84-13 pro-con, Independent 78-17, Liberal 85-15. Yeah, because they want him to run again so they can fuck with him. 70 moderates, conservatives. It's amazing. He just wins everywhere. Most African Americans wanted to join. No, they didn't check any Democrats at all. But okay, men 86-12, women 80-17, live in an urban area 81-14, live in a suburban area 81-15, live in the rural area 88-12. Just killing it. Honest to God, killing it. There is nobody even comes close.
But 63%, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So that's a very strong poll. 83% is sort of unheard of. I said, how good is 83? Is that good? Because we had Matt Schlapp in CPAC. I was 98%. Stand up, Matt. They did a poll that.
So even the 83 isn't good enough for him.
A straw poll, very respected straw poll. I came
by the way,
98%.
You'll notice. He seems to not grasp that this number is these two numbers added up. Even in Republican
and the
circles.
Republican Party, is that right? And he's the boss of CPAC, except his wife, Mercedes is actually the real boss, but only I know that, Matt.
The real what?
So that's great.
Hold on. Mercedes, the real what? Brains?
Mercedes is actually the real boss, but only.
Shit. He's talking about Matt Schlapp's wife. Listen to this. What you would say is Mercedes is the real brains. Listen to, tell me, tell me when he's talking about Matt Schlapp's wife, if he says the real brains.
Boss of CPAC except his wife. Mercedes is actually the real boss, but only.
Mercedes is the real breast. No, he didn't say boss.
Boss of CPAC except his wife. Mercedes is actually the real boss, but only I know that. Man.
Mercedes is the real breast. He didn't say boss.
His wife. Mercedes is actually the real boss, but only. Boss of CPAC except his wife. Mercedes is actually the real boss, but only I know that.
I think he's trying to say brains and boss, and it sounds like breasts, because that's where he's going.
Matt. So that's great. So 83. So I'm saying to Matt, is 83 good? Well, I just got 98% from CPAC. But they say that 83% is unheard of. And what's even more unheard of is 63% strongly support. And that's only because we did a great job. Together, we did a great job. I took care of the farmers, I'll tell you that. All right, let's go to the next one. So this is in the Republican...
This is how much people like me.
Primary, if there was a Republican primary, and you see we're doing unbelievably, we're way up above everybody else. Way, way, way up. Numbers that are unprecedented. They say, good names, all good. No, a lot of good people. I see Liz Cheney. Oh, that would be funny. Oh, look, she's at 0%.
Well, she gets 1 and 2, depending on.
She's at 1. But generally, she's Liz Cheney. Oh, that would be a dream. I hope that happens because she's losing so badly in Wyoming. You know, Wyoming was my number.
I have to say, I would watch a primary where Trump had to go against Liz Cheney.
Number one state. I hate to say it, Nebraska. They even topped you guys. But Wyoming, and it turns out that Liz Cheney happens to be from Wyoming, and she's registering. I think, David, she's at a record low number, right? So we should be able to get rid of her. She's horrible.
Yeah, totally.
She's sick. She wants people to be killed in all these crazy wars that we fight where...
Does she?
Half the countries, people never even heard of the countries. They don't want us there. They don't even want us there. Let's have the next one, whatever it may be. So now, if you take a look, wow, that's fantastic. Trump, definitely, 37. Look at that. So how the hell does he have 43? I say the poll...
Hold on. These are in the areas. Trump is, here you go, hold on. In the east of the country, Trump is losing to Biden. In all the areas where there's a lot of people, Midwest, 51-44, Independents 5. Hard to say. Where there's South, 54 Trump, 41 Biden. In the 6, West, 48-44, 8 Independent. Vote Trump 2020, 95-2. These they go. Vote Biden. 9 of those folks would go that way. 82 are back with Biden, and the Independents would vote for him. Vote Congressional GOP, 92-5. Vote Congressional Dems, 689-5. Independents. Here's the swing in this. Undecided, 31-30-40. That's a big gack up. Approved Biden, 1382. Biden voters do that. Disapprove Biden, 77-14. Sorry. Republican, 94-4. Democrats, 1084-6. It doesn't quite say how many. But live in a rural area, 63-32. Biden's actually doing better in rural areas than I thought. Suburban, 42. And of course, urban areas, he's doing great in cities where all the fucking people live. Definitely, probably.
Poll is inaccurate. I say it's an accurate poll. So that's against Joe Biden, the man you just saw on tape.
Uh-huh.
He gets 43%. Somebody said I'm winning. Somebody said I was up 19 points. I said, how come 19? Well, how does he get all those votes? But we're up by a lot. And what's the next one? Harris. Oh, Kamala. We're only up 10 points on her. Then we had other people. They put, I think, crooked Hillary Clinton in one poll. She didn't do too well. Crooked Hillary. Do you see all the fake stuff that's coming out now? I have to say, John Durham is putting out a lot of very powerful stuff. It's very
fake
important
stuff
for our country. So they're great numbers. Look, we're great numbers, but in the meantime, we have a long way to go, and we have something very important. Our country is just dying with this group of people.
By the way, McLaughlin is literally the friendliest polling group to Trump. It is basically his pocket poll, and he's still only got a 10-point spread, which is a 3 to 5%. What am I looking for? I'm like drunk on popcorn. That's what's happening. A margin for error.
Dying. And so many bad things are happening. One of our most urgent priorities when Republicans retake Congress must be to end the nightmare on the southern border, where our country is being poisoned, weakened, and permanently stained. Every day, Biden's open border agenda is getting innocent Americans absolutely slaughtered.
Absolutely slaughtered. Also, by the way, there is no open border. Mayorkas even came out today and was like, yeah, the border's closed. Everybody in all these countries, stop thinking the border's open. And meanwhile, this piece of shit and everybody else on Fox is spending every day going, the border's open. Biden lets anybody in. You don't even need to have a reason. You get asylum claim. They'll give you a free cell phone, free health care. Come on in.
Just weeks ago, an illegal alien was charged with savagely murdering a married couple in the prime of their life for no reason whatsoever. They were riding their bikes near their home in Daytona Beach, Florida. He stabbed them repeatedly, mutilated them, and dumped them in a field. Horrible thing. You saw this story, a big story, happening all over the country.
Yeah, so there's millions of people coming across, and you have this one anecdotal story about this dude. Meanwhile, what about there are the same number of Trump voters who murdered their wives, buried them in a shallow grave, and voted for you using their ballot.
Country in what was described as one.
Well, Lolima, they had to be in the prime of their life. She says married couple in their prime. Otherwise, if they're old, is it a big loss? Jesus.
One of the most brutal murders the police had ever seen. One of the policemen, I saw him on television. He said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've seen horrible, horrible murders. I've never seen anything like this. They were riding their bicycle.
That's what, and each of them had to have the bicycle removed. They were riding their bicycle. Why is that a factor? It's murder. What the hell? It's Florida.
And just last week, a heroic member of the Texas Army National Guard specialist, Bishop Evans, you read about this one too, tragically lost his life in the Rio Grande after he jumped in trying to save the lives of illegal border crossers who turned out to be not just border crossers, they turned out to be criminal alien drug smugglers with tremendous amounts of drugs. They were trafficking in drugs.
Is that why they couldn't float? Just too much drugs?
And illicit narcotics. He died.
Yes, heroically.
The Biden administration.
And by the way, just because you're a drug smuggler doesn't mean, A, you wanted to smuggle drugs, the way the cartels do business down there. They can kind of force you to do it. Secondarily, what's he supposed to do? Let him drown?
Complete.
Is that the Christian thing to do?
Abolition of America's border is a crime against the citizens of our nation. It's a crime against humanity. Under the defund the police mantra, our Democrat-run cities are also being ravaged by the scourge of violent crime.
Hey, Scourge made a comeback, guys. Scourge. Remember that? It's been a while. It's like the beginning of the show all over again. Remember that back in the day? When he'd say Scourge? Jesus.
Never forget, the radical left wants you to be locked in your home and take away your freedoms while they set loose dangerous criminals all over our country without bail and release repeat offenders without charges, destroying your country, your family, and
no, we don't.
Destroying your life. The greatest threat to public health in our cities is not COVID.
Personally, I want them all released in a field in Nebraska. But I'm kidding.
It's the Democrats' weak on crime agenda and policies. Record-setting crime is taking place with shootings and stabbings far more than COVID. In Chicago, as an example, there have been 44 people murdered and 168 people brutally shot. Many of them never will recover, compared to 87 deaths for COVID in the last 4 weeks. Can you believe that? 4 weeks.
Yes. Biden got people vaccinated. Deaths are down.
Democrats are the party of crime, chaos, and death.
That sounds like a good album. I can't wait till it comes out.
Republicans are the part, and I think this is pretty well acknowledged. Republicans are the party of law, order, and life.
Well, unless you're a Capitol cop or Mike Pence, obviously. It's hard to call yourself the party of life if you actually build a gallows.
We must elect strong, tough, America First Republicans at every single level. Right here in Nebraska, you have the chance to elect a die-hard MAGA champion as your governor, a man who's been with us from the very, very beginning. One of the reasons I'm here right now, Charles W. Herbster. I first got to know Charles when he was one of my earliest supporters.
Something new.
And made him the chair of my agriculture advisory committee of 2016. I'll tell you, he did a great job.
Of 216? It does feel like it was that long ago.
He was so into it. He wanted to help the farmer. As a fifth-generation Nebraska farmer and rancher who really knows his business, he had great careers in business and other things. Everything he did was successful. Great. No one will fight for this state harder than Charles. He's a person that happens to love the state of Nebraska. Most importantly, Charles W. Herbster will never bend to the rhinos, the media, or the radical left. That's why they're doing everything they can to stop him.
By the way, what he keeps referencing is this. Oops, hold on. Yeah. This dude, Nebraska candidate for governor accused of second groping incident at 2019 dinner. Same two people coming forward, same dinner. Has been endorsed by Trump, was accused of groping a second woman at a 2019 Republican fundraising event. He denies both allegations. Second woman is publicly accused, Charles Herbster, the Republican candidate for governor. Elizabeth Todson said Mr. Herbster grabbed her at the dinner in Omaha and said details of the incident reported earlier this month by the Nebraska Examiner were correct. For years, I've struggled with an experience I had with Charles W. Herbster. She said, they have to put the W in there? Are there a lot of Charles Herbsters running around in the state? She said in a statement issued by a lawyer, at a political event in 2019, Herbster sexually groped me while greeting my table. The allegations against him, a millionaire agribusiness executive who's largely self-funding his campaign, have roiled the often polite world of Nebraska politics ahead of state's May 10th primary. The longtime Trump ally has adopted the former president's playbook in responding to these. Let's see what the Nebraska Examiner said. GOP state senator, 7 other women say Charles Herbster groped them. He denies allegations. 7. All right. Time after time, he worked the crowds as he attended events, either as a candidate for Nebraska governor, a significant Republican donor, or a beauty pageant judge. He would go up and down a group of individuals, often wearing his signature cowboy hat, but when young women reached out for a handshake as well, he pulled them into an embrace instead. Let's see, he reached up her skirt without her consent, touched her inappropriately. The incident happened in the middle of a crowded ballroom at the Douglas County Republican Party's annual Elephant Remembers dinner. I don't remember doing that. At the same time, Slamma had been recently appointed to District 1 legislative seat representing Southeast Nebraska. Herbster owns a farm and a house in the district. Another person attending 2019 said Events saw Herbster reach up Salama's skirt and had told the examiner about it. So this is somebody who wasn't one of the victims, who was at this Republican fundraiser, who was a witness to this. When the examiner asked Salama on Monday if the two incidents at the event had been described accurately, yes, confirmed, declined to discuss the incidents further. 6 women, including a woman Salama saw being groped at the Elephant Remembers dinner, told the Nebraska examiner that Herbster touched them inappropriately when they were saying hello or goodbye to him and when they were posing for a photograph by his side. Herbster groped their buttocks outside of their clothes during political events or beauty pageants. Each woman said he grabbed, not inadvertently grazed by Herbster. A 7th woman said Herbster once cornered her privately and kissed her forcibly. Yeah, I can see. I mean, he's a MAGA Republican.
Malicious charges to derail him long enough that the election can go by before the proper defense can be put forward. But he's already got the proper defense.
What is it?
He doesn't even know about this stuff. That's the proper defense.
Yes, he does know about this stuff.
Defense, Charles.
That's the proper defense, Charles. That's what you say. I don't even know what they're talking about. That'll get you off.
This is a fine man, and he's innocent of these despicable charges.
How the fuck would you know?
By the way, Charles, welcome to politics. Nice business, isn't it? You know, after I won the election in 16, friends of mine, tough guys, business people. I used to think these
you
were
must be the most
people.
innocent
These
person.
guys were tough. They're from New
Guy
York,
was crying.
real estate guys. And I used to go around and say, oh, these businessmen are the toughest, and women. And I said, oh, no. Then they asked me about 2 years when they had all the different hoaxes that came up. Russia, Russia, Russia. Turned out to be a fake story. Think of it. It's a fake story. And they have it now as a fake. And people are being indicted all over the place. They made up the story. I kept saying, people would say to me during the campaign, sir,
Oh, God.
do you know anything about Russia?
Oh, God. He's diverting into other... This is needle drops.
Say, no, not much. Why? Well, I don't know. There's a lot of rumors going. Dave Bossy would come up. Sir, do you know anything about Russia? And this is during the campaign, right? And I'd say, I mean, yeah, I can tell you where it is, Dave. I don't know too much about it. You know, I thought it was just an innocent question. But after you get asked a question like 7 times and young people would come up, Matt Schlepp called me, asked me a question. Sir, what do you know about Russia? I'm saying, what the hell is going on with Russia? It was a fake story that was put out there, and they wouldn't go away. We wasted 2 years on that fake story, and now we caught them, and we caught them in the act. And they should pay a price for that. It's a terrible thing.
That's not creepy or dangerous.
Your state is very poorly
P.S. That dude is wearing a Trump 2020 shirt.
represented by a grandstanding,
He wants the artist to know that he's liked them since their first record.
little respected senator called Little Ben Sass. He's bad news. Who's an embarrassment to the people of Nebraska. He's a total embarrassment. This guy started off, this Little Ben Sass, he's a lightweight. He started off so nasty to me. I won the presidency, and I met with the 52 at the time senators, and everybody was nice. I helped McConnell get elected. Without me, McConnell would have lost, by the way. And I helped numerous of them get elected. But this Little Ben Sass asked me a question. What do you know about the military? I said, what do I know about it? I just got elected president. It's a nasty question. He's saying this in front of 52 Republicans, David. You never even heard that. I've never told this, I don't think.
He just said, what do you know about the military?
But this little wise guy, well, what do you know about this? What do you know about health care? You've never done it before. I just got elected president. I said, who is that little guy back there? I said, I never saw him before. They said, his name is Ben Sass. Ben Sass, he's from Nebraska. I said, he's a fresh son of a bitch, isn't he, though? Oh, he's like grilling me. I said, you're a nasty guy. You know that, right? Well, I'm just saying it like, and then he was very bad for a year. Then all of a sudden, the people started to speak. He saw he was going down the tubes. So Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, and some others came over, and they said, he'd love to meet you. Would you be willing to meet him? I said, I really don't want to meet him. I mean, but anyway, he came over to the White House. He was groveling, because you were letting him know that he was not long for this world. And he apologized, and he could not have been nicer for 2 years, okay? And then it came time to endorse, and I didn't really want to endorse him because that first year was horrible with that little white
And then January 6th happened, and he was like, fuck this dude.
guy. And he was like a gnat, you know? Get him off. Get him off my ass. But he was fine. He was fine, and he was okay. And so
Okay, people are leaving.
Lindsey and Ted Cruz came over, and some others were talking. Would you endorse him? Would you endorse him? He's going to be good. Would you endorse him? He was begging for the endorsement. And, you know, the head of your Republican Party is not a fan of this guy. And he called me, he said, after the fact, he said, I wish you would have told us you couldn't stand this guy. We would have run somebody against him. We would have won. I said, well, I wish I would have done that. And frankly, I wish I would have done it to Mitch McConnell also, because we would have won in Kentucky.
Me too, because you would
But
have.
we didn't.
Yeah.
So they treat you nice, and then you give him an endorsement, and then he won. And the day after he won, remember this? He came out. Trump should not have removed troops from Germany. We had 54,000 troops in Germany. They're delinquent on their payments to NATO. They're paying half what they should.
Also, it's not a payment to NATO. Again, he thinks this is membership, like Greens fees or some
be
shit.
paying. We're defending them. They screw us on cars. I mean, when was the last time they sold a Chevrolet? I asked Angela. When was
This bullshit. By the way, we don't have troops there for them. We have troops there for us.
the last time, to the best of your knowledge, Angela, when was the last time you sold a Chevrolet in Munich? When was the last time in Berlin we sold a Ford? Well, I don't know. I can tell you it didn't happen for many years, unless it's in a museum, maybe a museum from many years ago. And yet they sell Mercedes-Benz and BMW and
That are made
Volkswagen
here.
by the millions and millions. They don't take our farm product, Europe. You know, Europe is not much better than China was on trade. So I went down and I said, you know,
Well,
we have
in Europe's defense, they didn't trade a disease with us. So I suppose.
54,000 soldiers over in Germany. That's a lot of soldiers. That's like a city. And they make a fortune because the soldiers get paid and they go out and they buy in the stores and they do all this stuff. And they didn't treat us right. They haven't treated us. They've been very bad on trade. So I
Wait, so we're taking them out because they spend money on snacks and going to bars?
said, we're going to remove 25,000 soldiers from Germany. And, you know, just remove 25. And Angela went crazy because, you know, economically it's very good for Germany. And I did that. And then Ben Sass comes the day after the election. And he starts criticizing me and removing soldiers from Germany. And, you know, Germany's going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. But I'll never forget it. The guy wins his election, and then he hits me. So little Ben Sass is bad news. Another one that I think.
By the way, like this is all, I think he's mentioned Biden in the polls, and then he mentioned him at the beginning of this once, and then Pelosi once. Everybody else he's bitching about, Republicans.
I think his bad news is your guy Don Bacon. I think he's bad news.
Again, another Republican.
And I hope you vote like hell against that guy. He's bad news. He's always chirping in the background, never constructive. Just an otherwise guy like little Ben Sass. And I wish I would have known your Republican chairman. He was very good. He was great. He said, you know, if you would have told us. I said, no, you should have told me. I wish you told me. I said, did you have anybody? He said, no, but we would have had somebody, and they would have beaten Ben Sass. With Don Bacon, I think it would have been the same. Actually, you have a gentleman running. I think he's here, right? Right? You know, I was taking pictures backstage, and he's a nice guy. Keel, Steve Keel. He's a nice
As a
guy.
card, he gave me his card.
No, I don't know, Steve. I don't know, Steve. Where's Steve Keel?
Mike Pillow's in the fucking way.
Well, hi, Steve. How are you? No, he gave me his nice card. He's a beautiful wife, wonderful wife. She loves him so much. She's like, tears are coming down her eyes. He loves Nebraska. He loves Nebraska. Steve Keel. It's pronounced Keel, but it's spelled K-U-E-H-L. How the hell did you get Keel out of that one, right? But he's just a really nice guy.
Same way you got Trump out of Drumpf.
And I just met him, and, you know, I have no idea how he's...
Yeah, just endorse him. But fuck it. He's got to be better than Bacon, right?
Bacon's been there for a long time. But he's just He's not good. So I'm not endorsing one way or the other. I know nothing, but I've heard great things that Steve is a high-quality guy who loves the estate. I think Bacon's a bad guy, you know? I mean, he's a bad guy. But
Why?
I wish him all
What the
well.
fuck? I mean, I don't care.
I think Steve will probably do a lot better than people would anticipate, and I hear he's working very hard. So good luck. Good luck, Steve, whoever the hell you are. Okay? And now his wife is happy. I wanted to make her stop crying. I wanted to stand up, wife.
Stand up, wife.
I wanted.
Why wouldn't you say Mrs. Keel?
I wanted to make her stop crying, and now she's happy as hell. That's good. With your vote for Charles this primary, you can give a stinging rebuke to the rhinos and the sellouts and the losers.
Yeah,
and
the Republicans. Terrible. The whole state's run by Republican losers. Thank you for bringing it up.
America
assholes.
First warrior, and somebody that's going to do well in your negotiations with foreign countries who take
Nebraska's negotiations with foreign countries.
Advantage of Nebraska and every place else. But Charles is not going to be taking advantage. I can tell you that much right now. He may be actually too aggressive. If you don't like him being too aggressive, you probably shouldn't vote for him. But he's being too aggressive.
Don't stop helping.
For you, remember that. But he's a very successful person in business life and in other things, and I'd like to have him come up. He's really somebody that's been put through a grinder, and it's very unfair. He's a high-quality person. Charles, come on up.
He's a high-quality person. Oh, boy.
I stood at Trump Tower on June 16th of 2015.
Oh, my God, it's a Phil Hartman character.
2015 when Donald J.
I'm not wrong. God bless Phil Hartman. I miss him so.
Trump and Melania Trump came down the escalator, and I said to my wife, Judy,
move out of the way so I can grab her ass.
You have just met the next president of the United States of America. And then 17 people running in the Republican Party for the president of the United States of America. One by one, they just dropped by dominoes.
Dropped like dominoes, and they fall like dominoes. Dominoes don't drop. Never mind.
5 presidents promised they would move the embassy to Jerusalem. And on May 18th of 2018, Donald J. Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem. And he did it for 10% less the money. And probably it would have taken 5 times more years to do it.
5 times more years.
Along with the fact that he appointed to the Supreme Court of the United States of America 3 conservative Supreme Court justices. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump.
Hold me up. I'm going to fall over. Touch my penis.
Thank you, Charles. That's pretty good for a businessman, right? You just hear that? That's pretty good, Charles. So, early voting is already underway, and the primary, as you know, is on May 10th. And I think Charles is going to do very well. And if he does, you'll be very happy, and you're going to have an even more prosperous state. We've made it very prosperous, and I really think he's going to do just a fantastic job. And if I didn't feel that, I wouldn't be here. And it's not even about the friendship. I do have a feeling, because he was right there, right at the beginning. He was able to predict it. But he's going to do a fantastic job. So get out and vote for Charles W. Herbster. We're also joined by a man from another state, a great state, a place that I love and that I've had tremendous success there also. It's the state of Missouri, and this gentleman is
this gentleman?
Congressman Billy Long. Do you know that? Do you know Billy? Billy, stand up, Billy. He's been a great friend of ours. He's another one right from...
As a young fella. There he is. Hi, I try as much as possible to look like a cartoon character of an old fat Republican in the 30s.
The beginning.
I remember him from the Warrant album cover.
Thank you, Billy, very much for coming. Appreciate it. He's a great guy. He's a character, too, but he's a great guy. Former NFL star and a great supporter, again, right from the beginning. He was a hell of a football player, Jack Brewer. Jack, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That guy spoke earlier before the actual, Trump part of it. And he mentioned that he carries his Bible everywhere he goes and he's not ashamed. Just in case you thought somebody's like, you should be ashamed to carry your Bible. Apparently in Nebraska, it's okay.
A man who I just introduced with his 98% poll. Anytime I get a 98% poll, I like that guy. I don't care. But I do like him, and I've liked him for a long time. I've liked him before he was the head of CPAC. And his wife is incredible, worked in the White House with us, Mercedes. Matt Schlapp. Matt, thank you. Another longtime friend of mine, and David, I think you were there right just about at the beginning, right? Very
Jesus
close,
Christ.
was it?
This is boring.
He said before the beginning he was. We had some of them that were actually there before the beginning, like we're not going to vote unless this guy from New York named Trump, unless he's the only guy going to win. So, and we did do much better the second time, you have to say. Much better, like a different world. But he's the head of Citizens United. The job he's done is incredible. And I really hope you're going to go see the documentary he made on Zuckerberg.
I got a thing.
It's really incredible what these guys are allowed. You know, we have people that we know very well. Recently, it took place in a certain state that you know very well.
No.
Nebraska, where they put a man. They want to put a congressman in jail over a tiny amount of money. I don't know what the event was. I don't know what the charge was, but I saw he was convicted. I think the trial was in California, which is a little strange. And it was over a very small amount. Here's a group of people. I know nothing about it, but, it looked like a very, very unfair prosecution. But here's a guy, think of it, who put up $417 million, and nothing happens. With the other one you talk.
That's because it didn't go to a candidate or a party. It just went to voting materials. Like, they talk about this all the time, that, like, Zuckerberg should go to jail because he gave stuff. He gave it to the states, and they spend it how they wanted.
Talking about thousands of dollars, and he said he didn't know about it. So it's a very sad double standard.
I'm falling
asleep. Another man who's a friend of mine who's a real patriot. He really is, and he's a great gentleman.
Boring. I feel this dude.
Of advertising in history.
I'm ready to wear a "fuck Joe Biden" shirt just to show how miserable I am.
I think he makes the best deal. I would love him to buy. If there's a next campaign, which I suspect you people think there will be, I should have him buy our ads, because we will We will get more success out of $1. I've never seen a guy like this. He can buy more ads. I mean, the pillow business must be a very profitable business. Mike Lindell, he's been a friend right from the beginning.
He spoke earlier, too. He basically pays for this. Mike Lindell pays for RSBN's production and for, like, a lot of this, like,
they're the longest commercials. Mike, cut it down.
Like the bleachers, like literally the gear there.
I don't know how the hell he buys so much, but boy, he's a good negotiator, and he's a man that knows and understands the election very well and what took place. He's a patriot. With the help of many people here tonight, over 4 incredible years ago, we grew the conservative movement into a working people's movement. Republican Party is now a party of a lot of people, but working people more than maybe anybody else. And, we've expanded this party to a level.
It's the Bernie bro of maggots.
We want the party. We want everything. We just don't want Trump. By the way, that's the liberal media saying that. That's not the people saying it.
No, that's Fox.
That's what we call it, Trumpism without Trump. And we're never going back. Our movement must continue to pursue.
No, by the way, nobody that isn't on the conservative side wants Trumpism of any kind, whether Trump's involved or not. That's a Fox thing. He quoted it earlier.
A populist and nationalistic.
Oh, this guy. Oh, God. I'm watching these two again. Nope.
Thank you.
He's there.
Thank you. By the
There
way,
he
this
is.
is not only a big crowd. Look at those beautiful fields of corn and everything. This is
The corn was lined up down the street for like 6 miles. There's a lot of corn out there that can't get in.
so beautiful. You're so lucky to be growing up. I've seen things where I grew up that are a little tough. You don't have those things happening in your community. You're very lucky, and you're very talented, too. You have an incredible law enforcement group who I met backstage, by the way.
Yes, very talented. Keep the street crime out of the cornfields.
Thank you to the police and to your fire department. Thank you. Thank you to the fire department. Our
In case the corn catches fire.
movement must continue to pursue a populist and nationalist economic agenda that puts working families before globalist politicians that are fools and corrupt multinational corporations. A lot of these people, like this guy Toomey, Republican from
By the way, this is this. They think this guy's going to run again. They think this is the magic. This is actually. Does anybody buy this? Because you and I, if you've been watching my live stream for a while, we've done all of these fucking things. And there was a period where his fuck ups came fast and furious, so they were extra funny because he'd screw up at least at a high energy level. These are almost sad. The magic is gone totally. It's just like it's like watching a balloon, like them slowly let the air out without even the noise.
From Pennsylvania. I wouldn't give him my endorsement, and he didn't run. He did nothing at all except fight me on taxing China. I said, let me ask you, Pat, I want to charge China taxes and or tariffs. You can call it whatever you want. To me, it's very similar because
Yeah, legally it's different, but you know.
because they've been screwing us for so many years. Sir, you can't do that. Why can't I do that? Let me ask you, if they have a car and they charge 50% or 100% or something else, and they're charging 100%, and I have the same product going the opposite direction, and I want to charge 100%, can I? No, sir, that's not free trade.
Yeah, it's terrible how the huge demand for Chinese cars in the United States. And yet it's just too prohibitively expensive. They're too fancy.
Right. I said, so they can charge, we can't, and you don't want to make any money. Supposing I charge them not 100%, but 25, is that okay? No, sir, that's not free and fair trade, sir. So I wouldn't give him my endorsement, and he actually voted to impeach me. Can you believe it, this guy? That was before the fact. I decided I couldn't wait. You know, when they wanted me to endorse him, I said, no thanks. And I knew I had a vote coming up. That shows I'm legit. Look, I know I would have done the right thing to do in terms of being smart, but I'm an honest person. I said, I'm not going to endorse him. He can vote any way he wants. And we had great support in the Senate, and we had incredible support in the Republican.
So the what you're supposed to believe, by the way, is that if he'd endorsed this guy would have voted with him on stuff. But he voted against him, so he wouldn't endorse him. I don't know why the art of the deal has any meaning in this situation. He's basically saying if I was Lyndon Johnson, I wouldn't twist arms, even though I wouldn't have had to twist very hard, and they already would have done it. If I just said, I'll twist your arm, that would have been good enough. Fucking hell.
House, we had just incredible support. And I want to thank, we went through this thing twice. We went through. Bill Barr didn't want to be impeached. He said, how do you not get impeached? You don't do
This shit again.
Election fraud stuff. He didn't want to, sir, I don't want to be impeached. But he didn't want to be impeached.
Yeah, that's
so
what he
all
said.
All of a sudden, he goes a little bit.
Wait a minute. Where'd you get the idea he didn't want to be impeached? Did he at some point say, sir, I don't want to be impeached? I don't know. It sounds like conjecture.
On the other side, he doesn't get impeached. No, I think you have to have courage. If we're going to win, you have to have courage. So
Sure.
I said, no, I'm not going to support him. Knowing a vote's coming up, I mean, like, I'm a smart guy. Knowing a vote's coming up, I said, I wonder if he's now going to vote against. And he did vote against.
Yeah, but he was going to do that anyways. It isn't about him voting his conscience. It was about you voting your conscience. We're watching you, you're alleging that you had one, but that you could have manipulated him, but you chose not to. So he did it out of I don't know what the fuck. Who cares?
For no
Pat
reason
Toomey.
whatsoever, by the way. And you know, with the House, 6 down and 4 to go. Those are the 10 impeachers, right? The 10 impeachers, the Liz Cheneys and the Adam crying Kinzinger. You ever see this guy's always crying? You should see a psychiatrist. This guy, he's constantly crying.
No, he isn't.
I'm crying.
I'm fairly certain. Hold on one second. One second. Yeah, Kinzinger served in Afghanistan. Maybe it's PTSD, Bone Spurs.
Adam, but he's out. He quit. Gonzalez quit. A lot of them quit.
I think Kinzinger is going to run for president.
Guy in South Carolina is just getting absolutely pummeled. You know, he voted in South Carolina. Like, I think it's a Trump plus 28 district. I don't know, we're up by a lot. And he voted, and he votes, and the next day he gets just hammered at home. He gets hammered. He said, I never knew I was going to commit political suicide over this. But his name is Rice, Congressman Rice from South Carolina. He's getting hammered now, and they have a great candidate against him. So we're doing good. We're doing good, but I just feel that that's not acceptable what they did. We've done a great job, and to vote
Jesus
with
Christ.
the Democrats on a scam impeachment thing, because Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, say what you want, they're horrible, their policy is horrible, but they do stick together. They stick together like glue. We stood up for Nebraska like no president in history. We ended the disaster known as NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made in the history of our country. And we replaced it with the USMCA, the best trade deal ever made in our country.
Minor change.
Although I think the deal I made with China is even better, if you want to know the truth. But China now, and they were adhering to it, but now they're not adhering to it so much anymore.
So it was a shitty deal, is what you're saying.
Because I left, and they don't give a damn about this administration. But we made a great deal. We made both great deals. In fact, be careful, because they...
Or it might be that practically all of China's major cities are locked down because of COVID, because their vaccine doesn't work.
want to renegotiate the USMCA. Mexico and China, they want to renegotiate. You've probably been...
I'm sorry, who wants to renegotiate the USMCA?
Negotiate the US... deal. We made both great deals. In fact, be careful, because they want to renegotiate the USMCA. Mexico and China, they want to renegotiate. You've probably been reading.
Yeah, I read about how China wants to renegotiate the U.S.-Mexico-Canada deal.
They say the deal's not fair. Isn't it nice that finally we have a deal where another country is saying it's not fair, okay? Because none of these deals, we made the worst deals I've ever seen. So the USMCA, don't renegotiate. Biden, don't renegotiate. We stood up to China like no one has ever stood up to them, taking in billions and billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs.
Oh, God.
And we gave, of the billions and billions and billions we took in money, we gave $28 billion to the farmers. You know that, right? Because I said, let me ask you, I was with a very good Secretary Perdue.
Sir?
I was with a very good man. I said, what was the most money that China purchased from us prior to them going on like a strike? They didn't want to do business. And he said 28. I guess it was 14 and 14 or 12 and 16. $28 billion. I said, that's okay. When the money starts pouring in, I'm giving $28 billion to the farmers, and I gave you $28 billion. And I see that.
Yeah, it basically just like, I'm buying votes.
I see that beautiful John Deere tractor back there. And if you remember what I said, because, you know, what I love about the farmers, they stood with me all the way. They never complained. They said, look, it's tough. Well, I was negotiating because China was essentially not doing what they should do. And they were boycotting, and they weren't buying anything. They thought they were going to force me out, that I'd lose the farm support. And it was just the opposite. The farmers stood with me. I don't know if you know about this, David. They stood with me. I was in...
How would he know? It's not like he lives in Nebraska.
The White House. So we had 35 farmers come in. I said, I'm going
All
to
35?
get you so much money. I'm going to take care of you in so many different ways, including from China. And we're going to do some subsidy to the farmers.
Uh-huh, you're going to buy votes.
And we don't want subsidy. We just want a level playing field. I said, you got to be kidding me. That's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that. Everyone wants to get, they just want freebies. The only one that ever said that to me were the farmers. We don't want subsidies. Just give us a level playing field.
Right. Stop fucking around. They were trying to tell you, like, this isn't helping.
So I gave them more than a level playing field. I gave them...
You can't do more than a level play. Never mind.
I gave them a level playing field that looked like this. It was a
Thank God it didn't look the other way.
glide scope, but they were incredible. I've never forgotten that statement, because usually when they come in, they all want money. They want something, whatever it is, every group, they want money. And if I call it subsidy, if I call it whatever, they want it. The farmers didn't want it. I'll never forget it. They were virtually unanimous. 35 great farmers, good
Virtually unanimous. 3 of them said this.
people. Some are friends of mine now. But they said, we don't want that, sir. We just want a level playing field. But I gave the farmers, as you know, many of you are, there's 28, because that's acreage, and you'll have to get bigger tractors, right? So I said, you'll need more land and bigger tractors. And I'm looking at that one. That's a pretty big one, right? That's pretty. I tell you, John Deere likes us a lot. That I can tell you. Sold plenty of big tractors. And we had a 1.5 year negotiation. And the farmers, you know, they were being hurt. But I said, I'll take care of it. A couple of farmers I watched on one of the shows, a guy said, you know, I'm being hurt badly. I don't even know if I'm going to make it, but the president's doing the right thing. You got to stop what they're doing to our country. They were ripping us off. But we made a great deal. To save family farms, we virtually eliminated the unfair estate tax, or the death tax on your farms. So if you had good children, you want to leave the farm. If you have crappy children, to hell with them. Don't give them anything. True.
It's true.
We used to talk about it. We got rid of the estate tax on your farm. So now instead of, you know what used to happen?
Oh God. I'm like, I need the next one of these. I need a fucking pillow.
Before me.
Mike, where's Mike?
Because it's not that liquid.
This is all a big ploy just to sell pillows, and it's working.
The business is like other things. It's a good business, but it's not that liquid. You have a valuable farm, but it doesn't throw off the kind of money, the values there. So what I did is I said, we got to do something, because people are losing their farms because of estate tax. It would be valued high, but it didn't make enough money, and they'd leave it to the kids, and the kids would look up and say, Mom and Dad, what the hell did you leave me this farm for? Now they don't have estate
Is that how they would do it?
tax, essentially, unless it's a very large place. They don't have estate tax to pay, and a lot of people understood that. That was a hard one to get. They're trying to change that around. The Democrats want to change that around, by the way. But
What are you talking about? It's part of, like, there's always been protections for passing on farms.
that's done all year round. And we cut regulations so filling stations could distribute higher ethanol gasoline from existing pumps. You remember what? It was going to cost so much money to change the pumps. They had to get brand new pumps. I said, what's the difference? There is none, sir. So why are they doing this? I don't know. I think it's called torture.
Jesus Christ.
And we let them use the existing pumps, and that's all been done. We fought for Nebraska, and we won for
Like, this is just all bullshit.
Nebraska.
Ugh.
And when we win this November, we will
pause
fight
and play?
and
Okay.
win for Nebraska once again. And
Just
we
get
will
through
keep
this
winning
while
for
we're lights off,
Nebraska.
Dev.
And
I'm
that
just gonna
means
talk
other
over the rest
farm
of it.
States also, and frankly, it means other states. Period. Whether it's farms or not, I treated Nebraska
I treat the farmers in non-farm states sometimes better.
really well, and I appreciate it. One of our top priorities must be to defend parent.
By the way, you're watching SPARKS Mega Worldwide. This is a special episode. We do these rallies. We've been doing them from the beginning. I've done all of them. Yeah. Can I just leave this on and just take a nap?
Parents' rights. You see what?
Don't forget to subscribe. Look, we hit 1,000, but we're down to 959. I'm just saying. It's a nice move, but
Going on. No teacher should ever be allowed to teach transgender to our children without parental consent.
yes, teach them how to be. No teacher should teach children how to be transgender without.
Those days.
Yeah, we're not like, and I remember having classes on being transgender when I was in school, and they just don't teach it like they used to.
will soon be over.
Oh. I don't know why the buffering is there unless they're messing with me on some of these things, but I think my bit rate is okay. Let's see. We'll reset that and make sure. Oh. What happened to the bit rate? Oh, there we go. Dropped for some reason. There's a local hit.
We will save our kids, and we will also keep men out of women's sports.
Back up. Look at this. Place is emptying out.
I feel so sorry. The women, you know, they have
Oh,
they had a
God.
record, a swimming record. You know this, a record that lasted for 11 years. And yet one really great woman swimmer, a young woman who wanted to break it. She's a top star. And she thought she could break it by 1/8 of a second. She's gonna do it. And then this dude came in and he swam. He broke the record by 38 seconds, right? 38. In fact, she said she was almost injured. She got injured by the wind of him going by her in the pool. The wind.
Fuck you.
She got windburn. But the best of the weightlifters, she was strong. And, you know, they take like a half an ounce and they put it on the ends. She's going, I think it was an 18-year record or some ridiculous time. Didn't make it. This guy comes along. Pink, could have stood there all day. I think he broke it by, was it over 100 pounds or something like that? So they were going for me. Oh, finally, we're waiting. They're waiting for a tidbit.
Finally, something that isn't terribly boring.
But if I were a basketball coach,
You would have been in jail for assault a long time ago.
Did you ever have thoughts of going woman? Because if you did,
Going woman.
I'd like to have you on my basketball team. It's true. It's true.
Strew.
Okay, let's get on with it.
Okay, let's get out of there. Jesus Christ.
It's true. Okay, let's get on with it. In addition, the Democrat Party is not a 50% party within our country. I'm telling you. They're not a 50. They cheat on elections. They're not a 50-50 party.
Well, no, we're like 54%. I want to say 42% Republicans.
They're against God. They're against guns. They're against oil. They're against law enforcement. Defund the police. How stupid is that? They're against voter ID. Even Democrats vote 87% for voter ID.
Well, then why are we against it? If we're against it, why are we for? Why are we 87%? We're 87% for something we're against?
They're against the Constitution and they're against our founding fathers. That's not a 50% party. The only way they win is to cheat. I believe this. Now, some people can dispute it.
Yes, I have.
They cheat in the elections, and they cheat now like never before. And these ballots, these paper ballots that are being sent out by the millions and millions, you'll never, ever be able to control it. Whether it's postmen or women, and, you know, both ways, whether it's postmen, whether...
Postmen or postmen or women? After men and women or people who work for the Postal Service?
And they tend to be very Democrat.
Yes, I'm getting dosed by this. I feel like I've been hit with an elephant.
And they still don't know what the hell happened. And that was a small congressional election. They had an election in New Jersey, a ballot
He's talking about a primary
election before the presidential election. And to this day, they have no idea what the hell happened. But, you know.
Yeah, we need to stop focusing on CRT because they're obsolete. We need to focus on flat screens, much more prominent. I agree.
You take California. I think we do much better in California. You know, they all say that you lose automatically by millions of votes. I don't believe that. I went to just one rally because I was told don't go to California. I never saw a crowd like that. Massive. They sent out millions and millions and millions of ballots. Many people got 2, 3, 4, 5. The highest I heard was 9.
Jesus Christ.
But they got many.
Just blather.
Many ballots. I don't believe California.
God help me. Oh, hold on.
a winnable state. I think if you had a fair election, I think it's a very winnable state. I think we have a lot of winnable states. I don't think they'd win at all.
Jesus Christ, this dude's like, we got a shot at California now.
If we had fair elections. That's why one of the highest priorities, the left wing, these are Republicans that want to do it. Guys like Jim Jordan, who's fantastic, and others. Jim Banks. We've got a lot of great people in Congress. Think of it. For the impeachment hoax #1, I think it was 196 to nothing.
Oh, God, dude, get over it.
It's just a hoax.
Look at this dude checking his phone.
People, but
hey, do you have to go to the bathroom? You okay?
Left-wing censorship and restore free speech in America. And those people back there are a big problem because they're so corrupt. The press is corrupt. Go out and sign up now, by the way, for Truth. The head of all of them. Can you imagine this?
Yes, because it's about new downloads, and almost everybody is already on those sites.
I do this thing, and it's great. It's really good. People love it. They love the interaction. They love what's going on. Truth Social. Go out and sign up because that's going to be our voice. Last week, the Biden administration announced they're creating a so-called Disinformation Governing Board at the Department of Homeland Security, run by a highly partisan left-wing lunatic who tried to convince people that the Russia hoax was true and that the Hunter Biden laptop information was put out by Russia, which he knew was false. Disinformation. That's what they do, disinformation. And just like they do the big lie, while it's the big lie, while there's no proof, while the president is a bad person.
Hold on. I don't know why we're all of a sudden... I'm seeing the bit rate drop. Hold on one second. I'm not quite sure why that is. Hold on. Upload. Let's see what. Seems all right. Yep. All right.
Dollars.
Oh shit.
And they the presidential election, and to this day they have no idea what the hell happened. But, you know, you take California. I think we do much better in California. You know, they all say that you lose automatically by millions of...
God, get over yourself. Hold on.
Many people got 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a very winnable state. That's why 6 to nothing. They stuck together. It's just a hoax. But we have some great people. But they want to crack down on left-wing censorship and restore free speech in America. And those people back there are a big problem because they're so corrupt. The press is corrupt.
Terrible.
Go out and sign up now, by the way, for Truth. Did you see Truth?
Yeah.
TikTok. The Department of Home. A highly partisan left-wing lunatic who tried to convince people that the...
It was for about 20 minutes it was being that way?
Russia. And that the Hunter Biden laptop...
Oh, God. He's talking about a very specific person. And this is the whole, like, someone voted already, and none of them filed a report.
They want to go in and vote.
He's going to... Endo is asking what music he'll exit to. It can't come soon enough. But it's the Hold On, I'm Coming.
Yes, ma'am. It's nice to have you. Ballots were for Biden. They voted for Biden, and these were people that wanted to vote for Trump.
Well, then why didn't any of them file a report with the Secretary of State or the Election Commission? Shuffled their shoulders.
But that's what's going on.
Does that hurt?
We have no choice. We must restore integrity to our elections, or we don't have a country. Between borders and elections, we're not going to have a country. And
how come nobody voted in my stead?
And that means universal voter ID, citizenship confirmation, no more fake. I can tell you why. Just like in France, they just had a big election. There were no problems. We should have one day voting with only paper ballots.